Hey, it's Scott Barrett, and welcome back to The Burning Truth. And this is a Watchalong Live. This episode, we're going to rewind the clock to one of the most unforgettable nights in wrestling history, Matt Burns. It's the WWF Royal Rumble 1992.
Oh, that's right, Scott. We're going all the way back to January 19th, 1992, live at the time formerly known as the Knickerbocker Arena, now known as the MVP Arena in Albany, New York. Can you believe it's been over 30 years since the classic event? Or more importantly, if you want the actual proper truth, and let's get it right, 33 years to this very day, if you want the correct fact.
Yeah, as we're recording the 19th of January, 2025, so 33 years ago. And it is hard to believe. The card was stacked top to bottom, star-studded roster at the time, featuring legends like Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, the Macho Man Randy Savage, Shawn Michaels, and of course, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. We're not just talking about the Royal Rumble match, because, Matt Burns, we're going to watch the entire event, yeah?
Oh, yeah, we're diving into every match, every promo, and all the drama leading up to one of the most talked about Rumbles of all time. Trust me, there's a lot to get into. This wasn't just any ordinary night in the WWF, now known.
Not just as a pay-per-view or a normal night in the WWF. This wasn't just any Royal Rumble, Matt Burns.
This was the Royal Rumble.
The Royal Rumble. And if you're joining us for the first time, here is how a watch-along works. We want you to open up your copy of the 1992 WWF Royal Rumble, whether you've got it on Peacock, DVD, or, like us, whether you're on the Netflix. However you watch your classics, cue it up at the very start of the event, and when we count down 3, 2, 1, play, press play at the same time as us, and from there we'll guide you through all the action, match by match, with plenty of commentary, reactions, maybe a little bit of trivia along the way. We've got those Scott statistics and those
Matt facts. So grab your snacks, get comfortable, and let's jump back to the golden era of wrestling, as this is The Burning Truth, and we're ready to rumble.
Yeah, so I'm just going to give everyone a couple of seconds to get it loaded up. Is this enough seconds to get it loaded? Me and Matt Burns are ready to go. We're going to talk about all sorts today. We're not just going to talk about the event, Matt Burns. We're also going to talk about what's going on in wrestling right now. Lots of stuff going on. I want to talk about Corey Graves. I want to talk about TNA and WWE. I want to talk about the Royal Rumble this year, which is just around the corner. So, let's get it queued up. And if you're ready, Royal Rumble 1992. It's 3, 2, 1, play. Here we go. Vince McMahon, straight on. Love it. Absolutely love it. Jake the Snake Roberts, going to be on the event. The Barbarian. Ooh, yeah.
Model.
Yeah. Really, really cool opening. Repo Man gets a shout. And I haven't watched this for years, right?
Oh.
We just had Ric Flair pop on the screen. Obviously, Bobby the Brain Heenan at this point is calling him the real world champion, and he's got the big gold belt, the NWA championship at the time, or the real world title they're calling it. Madness, the whole thing going on, I think, at this time.
So many, icons, legends, and such amazing workers that were involved in this Rumble. So, yes, a lot of people sit there and say each Royal Rumble's got its own pick. For both of us, this is a special Royal Rumble because just look at the actual individuals that are in this event.
Vince McMahon, it's time to rumble. We talk about the stakes of this. It's the first, and it's not the only, but it is the first Royal Rumble that had the WWF Championship on the line.
Yeah.
Which was huge at the time. We weren't even, at this point, I don't even think we were doing the winner of the Rumble goes on to WrestleMania. So this was the first time the Royal Rumble had these huge stakes involved.
I'm just thinking, when did that start? That's what I'm wondering, the actual...
With Gorilla Rumble. I think it started when Shawn Michaels won the Rumble. I think that's when that started. Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby Heenan. And Bobby's already banging on about Flair. You got to be fair to Flair.
Got to be fair to Flair.
Yeah. We've also got a new Intercontinental Champion. He's the Mountie, and he's going to defend against Roddy Piper. I love this. Absolutely love it. If you're watching along the clock at the bottom, 2 minutes 20, 2 minutes 21, that's how far in we are.
Yeah.
Is that about right for what you've got, Matt Burns?
It's about right from what I've got.
Yeah. We've also got LOD versus the Natural Disasters for the tag team titles. And, you know, the crowd are
What a rush.
Here's the Fink. Tag team match to kick us off. Fantastic. Talking about the state of wrestling in early 1992, though, WWF is obviously in a transition period, moving from sort of the 80s Hogan-dominated era into this more diverse roster of stars where there's more than just Hogan and others. You know, we're starting to build some new characters here. Macho Man Randy Savage, Ric Flair, The Undertaker, I think Sid Justice as well.
It was the new generation, wasn't it?
It's starting to be in 1990. It was more 1994, 1993 when that kicked off. But this is sort of the early days of that. And we're starting off here with the Orient Express in the ring.
Yeah. And then
here comes the New Hart Foundation, Owen Hart and Jim Neidhart, which was formed after Bret Hart left the foundation to focus on his singles career. So Owen was really early into his tenure here. And he was trying to carve out his identity.
But the weird thing about it is everyone did the Hart Foundation had the pink and black attack, but with the fact that it was this, they changed the colours system.
Yeah,
a little bit.
The new Hart Foundation here.
Yeah, the new foundation. Which
I don't know what the checkers was all about. It's not a look I'd go for in 2025, put it that way. It's very of the time.
Yeah.
And I think when we think about the tag division from 1992, though, you know, we've got teams like the Legion of Doom that were on top. We've got, obviously, the new foundation. We've got the Orient Express here. We've got the Natural Disasters who are on later in the show.
Yep. We'd also got...
We've also got the likes of the Rockers coming through at this point as well, right?
Yeah. I was just about to say, you got the Rockers, you got the Bushwhackers, you also got the Beverly Brothers. Yep.
Oh, the Beverly Brothers, yeah. Good shout. They might be on this show, actually.
Yes,
I can't remember.
are.
I kind of half think they are.
They were on a bit later on.
Okay. And it was around this time, 1992, I think, that sort of Hulk Hogan, well, we're talking about the main event later, I suppose, that his sort of popularity started to wane. I think that's fair to say. The golden hero of the 80s, I think this is the start of the fan fatigue. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you think that came later.
It was definitely certain a time when it was sort of they were wondering what they were going to be doing next, because here's the thing: Hogan had already sort of left for a bit, then came back.
Yeah.
Because certain things weren't going along with the Ultimate Warrior and everything. But
yeah, he was obviously off filming movies, etc., trying to become the next Schwarzenegger, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was doing his own little thing, but at the same time, there had to be a situation where it had to transition.
Yeah. And I think you've got to think about the next lot of stars that were coming through. So the likes of Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, coming through at this point. Bret's just started his singles run. Michael's obviously in this tag team, but he's poised to start his singles career in the not too distant future, if you like. They're coming in for the spotlight at this time. Especially Bret. He's not far off at all. It's only in a couple of years that he starts Royal Rumbling, if you like. Hey, we got a message through from Owen Hughes. Is that right? Am I saying that right? Hi.
No, Oshan.
Oshan Hughes. There we go. Hello, Oshan.
Oshan.
Shout out on the live. You're welcome. Owen Hart, man, so athletic. And for me, this is the perfect combination, right? So, if you listen to the podcast, I'm not a massive fan of Bret Hart, but Owen Hart and Jim Neidhart for me is the perfect combination because you've got Owen Hart's athleticism, which you're seeing right now with a brilliant Hurricane Rana, but you've also got Jim Neidhart and his hard-hitting power style, which I think complement each other brilliantly.
The thing is with Owen Hart is he went over and learned different styles. He didn't just stay in one area. He sort of learned, the Japanese style, the Mexican style. He wanted. He even, if I'm not mistaken, came over to the UK and learned the British style.
And here comes Big Jim. Get that rhino. That's my Stu Hart impression. You're welcome.
Yeah, but the thing is, with Jim, what was good is his nickname was the Anvil. And it's fitted. Boom, straight away. Absolutely. That hip toss.
Huge, yeah. Hey, can you, just a question here, Matt Mills, can you see the comments on your screen?
Yes.
Yeah. I think we just had another one from Oshan. Oi, oi. I wonder who that's for.
I wonder who. Oi, oi.
Oi, oi. I never said that before in my life.
Really?
It's interesting to see where these guys go from this, actually, because, you got Owen, who goes on to become the King of Hearts, a staple of the mid-90s, a staple of WWF through the 90s completely, to be fair. I always think about that WrestleMania match with Bret Hart, the opener.
Oh.
WrestleMania 10?
WrestleMania 10, where he opened and finished.
WrestleMania 10, yeah.
I definitely
Bret
remember.
opened and finished, didn't he? I don't think Owen did.
No, Owen started because it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was Bret and Owen who started the show.
Yeah, and that's only 2 years from now because WrestleMania 8 is sort of the follow-on to the 1992 Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Which, if I'm not mistaken, that was the next event, actually.
Oh, lovely elbow drop from the second rope from Owen Hart. After
the timing of it as well, which was really good.
I like a story about Mr. Fuji. I don't know the full thing, so I don't want to ruin it for everybody else, but there's a story about Mr. Fuji where he went on an overseas tour. And there was I think it may have even been Bruce who was on the tour, and he was scared to death that Fuji was going to rib him the whole time because Mr. Fuji, really well known for ribbing people, and he was scared to death the entire tour. It must have lasted like 5 days, something like that. And at the end of the tour, he said, "How come you didn't rib me?" And Mr. Fuji said something like, "The best rib is no rib." Like he just played with him for 5 days, which I absolutely loved.
Basically made him think he was going to get ribbed, but he didn't actually do anything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, speaking of ribs, one individual who's just tagged out was notorious for ribbing people.
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%. I have a question, Matt Baines.
Sure.
What happened to the Orient Express?
What? I'm just trying.
If you're watching along at home, the timer at the bottom here is the timer that we've got on our Netflix. Whether you're watching along on your DVD, on Peacock, we're watching the entire event, Royal Rumble 1992. Get it on and watch along with us. Yeah, what happened to the Orient Express, Matt Baines?
I'm literally just trying
Don't Google it.
I'm actually trying to remember off the top of my head. They sort of were around for a bit, but then sort of just vanished.
Yeah, I mean, what happened so often with tag teams in this era? They get lost in the shuffle.
You know, we found that with it, and it was just weird how that came about, and it depends. It really just depends on how far they want to go with it.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think two things here. Number one, Express. Anytime you put Express after something in wrestling, it's very late 80s, early 90s, but you're doomed. Lex Express, Orient Express. You're absolutely doomed if you put Express.
I actually know one group that's got an Express in it that could argue, yeah.
Go on.
The Elite Express. That's on that's on the UKWA.
Come on now. And then the new Heart Foundation. Anytime you put new in something, it's the same. It's like it doesn't last long. And I suppose that's the story of this, because by the end of 1992, this is January, by the end of 1992, Owen's firmly on his way moving towards single success, and Neidhart, is then sporadic over the next decade in the business, in the company, in the WWF. So anytime you put new in something, ooh.
If I'm not mistaken, the Orient Express weren't
Fuji. Ooh, Fuji with the cane.
The deadly cane.
And then the blatant choke. Come on, ref. They're both at him. There was no tag. Come on, ref. Sort it out.
Come on.
I'm getting way too into it.
Do your job, referee. Do your job. A classic Luke.
Absolutely. Big chop to their head. Is that Tanaka?
But if I'm not mistaken, with the Orient Express, I believe they were around. They actually left about a month after this event.
And the guy in the mask is Kato, right? Is that right?
The individual who's in the mask, I believe that is Kato. Yeah.
Yeah, Kato. Brilliant spinning back elbow.
Yeah. What I find interesting is the Orient Express were actually 3 workers and 1 manager. But I think Akio Sato wasn't involved in this one.
No, well, he's not there, is he?
Yeah.
Brilliant commentary here. We've got, just said fair to Flair.
Fair to Flair.
Gorilla and Bobby, some brilliant commentary going on for him. And while we're talking about commentary, I suppose I really want to talk about, I did say it earlier on, but I really, really, really want to talk about Corey Graves. So Corey Graves this week, or last week, sent out that tweet, Instagram, whatever it was, social media post about how he was frustrated pretty much that he'd been replaced by Pat McAfee is pretty much the crux of it. And he wasn't going to SmackDown either because Wade Barrett's there. He said he isn't deemed as
worthy.
No, not worthy. Famous enough is the word he used. Imagine being told you're not famous enough. And I really, that must have really hurt him. But where do we think there's a work in this? He's now deleted the tweets. He wasn't on NXT this week when he said he was going to be.
Now, the thing about it is, some people were just now saying, it's like when he mentioned about, he had to sort of stop his original dream of being a wrestler in WWE to then go for like a part-time, like a secondary dream, which he's really good at.
Dream adjacent.
Yeah, dream adjacent. He's been doing it for a while, been doing it really well, and then he brought somebody else in. Okay, they'll fit him onto this, and then he then got put onto NXT for one, and it's like, right, so I've been drafted back down to NXT.
Owen with a crucifix.
Ooh.
We've seen the crucifix more in the last 6 months than we've seen in about 10 years in WWE.
Yeah.
It's making a comeback, and I'm glad. Owen Hart with a brilliant crucifix there. And the Orient Express now back in control. Ooh, back in the heat. Super kick. That's the finish.
No. It was a martial arts kick. That wasn't a super kick. It didn't have the distance.
What about the headbutt to the groin? Referee distracted again. This referee's terrible. Get him, Neidhart. Sort it out. Mr. Fuji's loving it, laughing at ringside. No rib is no rib.
Oh, look, Chenlock. Classic stable.
Give him a rest. So if you're watching along, like we say, the clock is at the bottom of the screen. But for those that aren't watching live on YouTube, you're watching this back, or you've got it on the podcast. We're currently watching, and we're at 16 minutes, 42, 43, 44 seconds. If you're watching, or if you're listening along to us or watching along,
Oh, I think that was meant to be a crossbody, but the way he hit it, it looked like a unique way of doing it.
Yeah, what a bump is what I'll say.
Yeah.
I think it was all in the selling there from Owen Hart.
Yeah.
And that's why he went on to singles success quite quickly after this.
Oh, definitely.
So, Corey Graves, do we think? Two questions.
Oh, look,
do we think that Corey Graves? Oh, the referee won't see.
Oh no, he hasn't seen it. Owen Hart's getting absolutely mugged. Oh, into the stick. And broke the stick, I believe.
Mr. Fuji needs a new stick. Lakey, get the stick. That's a deep cut, if you know, you know.
That's more than a deep cut. Wow.
All over Owen Hart. Oh, here we go. I like this. We're going for. Oh, yeah. Armbar slam. I don't think it's quite an armbar slam, is it? It's more a hammerlock slam.
It's a hammerlock slam. Yeah, it's clear.
Gorilla called it an armbar slam, and forgive me for correcting Gorilla, but yeah. So, two questions about the whole Corey Graves thing, Matt Burns. A, do we think the initial posts were real? And B, do we think that if it was real, do we think WWE is now going to try and turn it into a work? Or the third question, I suppose, and this is what's been talking about online, is that Corey Graves was looking to get fired here.
It's difficult to say, because if it's real and you're frustrated, if he wants to be fired, he's going about it the right way. But this is the WWE. I think they would have jumped onto it very, very quickly, and would have immediately got into the effect straight away, because it's not like it's a small, call out by Corey. It's a big thing he's done. Absolutely. It's a big thing. But just
message from Oshan Hughes. What do you think about Roman Reigns? Let's do that quickly. What do we think about Roman Reigns? I mean, he's the tribal chief, right? Number one right now.
He's the only tribal chief.
Is he currently my favorite wrestler in WWE? No. But do I think he's phenomenal? Yes, absolutely.
Top guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Top guy.
Favorite wrestler in WWE right now? Best in the world, CM Punk.
He's on fire.
Thanks for your comments, Oshan. Keep them coming if you're watching along live with us on YouTube. Yep. Remember, we're at The Burning Truth 251 on YouTube, or just type in The Burning Truth and you'll find us. Have a look for the title belt that's behind Matt Burns and just above Matt Burns' head on the video too. So yeah, Corey Graves, dream adjacent. So you think it was real from what you're saying?
No. I think if it was real, it would have been handled more serious, more quickly.
So you think it might be a work?
I think it's a work, because there was
a WrestleMania match. Really?
There was no. There was speculation that he had actually had some medical checks, and he was actually potentially learning to get back into the ring before all this started. So there is that rumor as well.
Slingshot, double clothesline from the anvil rather, not the animal.
Yeah, straight slam, big body slams.
The Orient Express. Yeah, I love this. The anvil has gone nuts, says Gorilla.
Big back body drop.
Hot tag for the anvil. You don't see that very often, do you? Absolutely. Right.
Steamrolled him.
If you don't go down, I'll make you go down.
Oh,
what a dive.
That's what you call a dive.
Owen Hart, man, phenomenal. And then straight back up, straight to the top rope. Rocket launcher, big slam, big splash. Oh, there you go. And the Hart Foundation, the new foundation, get the win over the Orient Express.
Classic move as well.
Brilliant tag match there, Royal Rumble 92.
Yeah.
You're watching along live. We're currently 21 minutes, 56, 57, 58 seconds in as the new foundation of Owen Hart and Jim Neidhart celebrate in the ring, looking like they've just come out of Panto as Aladdin. Tell me I'm wrong, Matt Burns.
Not wrong. This is what I was referring to earlier. The cane being broken, the position of it. Boom!
Yeah. It's interesting that because they didn't play that for the live crowd, or you'd have had to been sitting really close to have seen that, I imagine.
But the difference is the noise of it breaking might have been enough.
Lord Alfred Hayes backstage. You don't see much of, real gents like Lord Alfred Hayes.
Straight in.
He's shown as Bret Hart versus the Mountie. And Bret Hart loses the Intercontinental title there to the Mountie. And I think that was at a live event.
Yeah.
2 days before this. And I'm not sure of the reason why. I'm not sure if it was an injury to Bret or whether it was just one of those things where they wanted it to happen at a live event to make you think you've got to go to the live events.
Yeah. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Exactly. You want to sell the live events.
But at the same time, I think this was to potentially free up Bret for a little bit later. To sort of allow Bret a bit more freedom instead of just being in that mid-card division. He's got a bit more freedom to go up. At the same time, this also brings in why Roddy Piper he's got that feud with the Mountie.
So back to Corey Graves, while Roddy Piper's chasing the Mountie off at this live event. Oh, the Mountie comes back in. Spoke too soon, and Intercontinental title. Piper's back. Pummels him with the championship belt. Poses. Oh, Piper's back up.
Big mistake. He turned his back on Piper.
Big right hand. And the Mountie escapes.
That's one thing you don't see nowadays. The big right hand flooring people.
Oh, and here's Jimmy Hart and the Mountie. So yeah, we're talking about Corey Graves. So you think it's a work and a way to get him back in the ring? Then I take it.
I do think it's a work. But before we get on to that, Oshan's just put another message on saying he follows us.
Brilliant. Thanks, Oshan. Everybody else, if you're watching, hit that subscribe button. Loads of wrestling content coming, not just on the podcast, but on YouTube too. We love YouTube. Wherever you're listening to this, give us a follow, a subscribe, a like, a review. It all helps, really helps the algorithm. So thanks, guys.
Comments especially, because right now we are here for a conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. The Mountie I'm going to do to Roddy Piper, what I'll do to Bret Hart. Can we finish talking about Corey Graves now, please?
Yes.
Okay. So I thought what was really interesting was what the coach came out with. Did you see what coach put online?
Yeah.
Because what I get is that Coach and Corey Graves maybe don't like each other all that much.
Yeah, you can tell that.
That's the way it came across anyway.
I think that's more or less of the fact of when they attempted to share a desk and it didn't work.
That 3-man booth. As we're watching Roddy Piper being interviewed now by Mean Gene. Woo! Corey Graves, I think that what started as him legitimately trying to get himself fired so he could go to AEW, I honestly think that. Because I think he threw his toys out the pram. Demoted to NXT, if you like. I think he probably sees it as a demotion. I mean, I maybe would as well. I think I've seen him frustrated previously when Pat McAfee's come back from wherever he's been.
Yeah.
And there's a reason that Corey Graves isn't filling in for Pat McAfee this week on Raw, and it's Wade Barrett. So this week coming, Pat McAfee isn't on and Wade Barrett's covering.
Yeah.
If it was really going to be a work, I would have Corey cover this week and talk about it a lot. And have him almost as a heel commentator on the show. So I think it's real. I think it's legit. And I think they don't know how they want to deal with it yet. And I think the internet wrestling community is thinking, oh, it could be a storyline, we could be getting a match. But actually, I think that we're not even close to that yet.
Yes, yeah. The thing about it is, I think and this is my own view, just from NXT New Evil, and when we watched it, is Corey was good on it. I just feel as though we got sort of overridden on that 3-man booth by Booker at times, because Booker just kept jumping in whenever Corey was trying to mention something that was happening, and he just kept jumping in, and it was like, and you can see a bit of frustration on Corey as if to say, mate, it's a 3-man booth, let me speak.
So we just had the new Intercontinental champion, the Mountie, come to the ring with Jimmy Hart. Been the champion for 2 days at this point after winning at that live event.
Yeah.
And now Hot Rod's on his way down to the ring. And the Mountie's an interest. It's Jacques Rougeau, right?
Yeah.
Apologies. And I think he debuted this character about a year before this. Roughly, I want to say. January 91. I think he debuted at the Rumble 91, actually, so a full year before this. I'm just trying to think who he might maybe Coco Beware.
No, keep going. Keep going.
I think he wrestled Coco Beware. Anyway, so I always think they could have done more with Jacques Rougeau, and I almost think that this gimmick is what held him back. Now, I'm interested in what you think, but
it's a bit tough because
he did that thing, didn't he, where after his match he would handcuff the opponent and tell him off, and then
like he always gets his man.
Yeah,
it was fine, but then I feel as though, depending on who he got put up against, I think what affected him was when he had these big feud with Big Boss Man.
Yeah, maybe.
It should have been absolutely serious, because if I'm not mistaken, they ended up having a match where if the loser lost, that one of them would spend the night in each other's prison.
Yeah.
And then what made me laugh with this is when you see him taking, the Mountie lost, he gets taken in, he's handcuffed, and all of a sudden he comes to the picture and he just goes, to take his mugshot. And as he takes his mugshot, you see what happens. You see him smile, and it was like, to me, it was like, it's funny, but at the same time, it was like you've just taken away a little bit from your character.
Got a comment in from Daz Reynolds. Big up. Who your favourites to win the Rumble this year? Oh man, we could talk about this for absolute ever as the Mountie flies out of the ring, escaping from Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper on the move to take him on. Oh, knocks him straight down with the right hand. Who's my favourite to win the Rumble this year? I think it's right now, because everything's being built around it, I think it's hard to look past John Cena. However,
I think we've got
in my heart of hearts, I don't think John Cena wins the Royal Rumble. Okay. I think Roman Reigns wins the Royal Rumble. I think we're heading for Roman Cody 3. Genuinely. I think it's the second time we'll have had the same main event 3 times at WrestleMania, just like we did with Rock and Austin. I think Cody Roman happens this year, 3rd time.
No, but the difference with Rock and Austin, they went consecutive, where they
had one off, didn't they? So 15, 17, 19, but these will be 3 in a row. I genuinely, I think that's what'll happen. What do you think, Matt Burns?
I think that's a good call. Very good call. But I don't think it'll be Roman who wins it.
Okay.
I don't. For me, it's between Cena and Punk.
Really? I don't think Punk's in with a shout this year at all. I've almost wrote him off.
No.
Cena, I can definitely see. It almost feels like the Rumble's built around John Cena this year.
No, I feel as though it needs to be. But at the same time, I feel as though Cena's going to... If Punk wins it, right, Cena's going to find a way of getting into the match later somehow. A bit like what happened with other triple threats, with with the infamous "He Who Shall Not Be Named" Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
As such. But the thing is, either way, if Cena wins, I can see Punk still somehow getting in, sort of just saying to Cena, well, bear in mind, I did sort of beat you for the championship and, sort of left you in Chicago in awe.
Can you stop politicking and answer the question? Who do you think's going to win the Rumble?
Cena.
Cena. You're going with Cena. Okay.
I'm going to go with Cena.
Cena is who my head is saying, but my heart is saying Roman Reigns, man.
No, we haven't seen enough yet.
Cena, enough. Wow. He'll be the only invisible person to have ever won the Rumble. Thanks for your comment, Daz. Ray was a good one when he won. Yeah, absolutely he was. And Ray's in it again this time. He's announced this week that he's in the Royal Rumble. When did Ray win the Royal Rumble initially?
Rey Mysterio.
Did he win like 2006, 2005?
I don't think. You got me wondering now.
I'm going to tell you right now. I've got it in front of me. He won the Royal Rumble in 2006. So what's that? 19 years ago.
It's about, yeah.
And the guy's still going, right? 19 years ago, he won the Royal Rumble. And he's still going as good as ever.
19?
Yeah.
Yeah, 19.
2006, 19 years. Don't listen, mate. Let's not.
No.
Not be questioning my maths. That's a Scott statistic, right?
Oh, no. Not only that, is it 19 years ago? If I'm not mistaken, that's also the 19th Royal Rumble.
All right. Okay, cool. That's a Matt fact right there. Matt fact.
19 years ago. 19 years ago, and it was the 19th Royal Rumble.
And this Piper Mountie match has just descended into chaos. We've got Piper now biting the Mountie's head,
roughing him up
with him, sending him off against the ropes, and big right hand to the chin.
He's rocked.
Looked a bit potatoey to me, that did.
probably receipt or something.
Yeah, maybe. And a big back body drop. That's two of them in two matches. Love a big back body drop. Again, if you are watching along with us, the timer at the bottom is where we are. We're currently watching on Netflix, but if you've got it on DVD, if you've got your Peacock out, wherever you're watching, we are 34 minutes and 25 seconds into the pay-per-view. And here comes the Mountie. Shawn Michaels wasn't the first one. The Mountie skinning the cat back into the ring.
Oh, and there goes Jimmy Hart.
And here comes the sleeper hold. Piper's got him in the sleeper.
Is it night?
It's interesting, isn't it? Because Piper's career, legendary as a heel in the mid-'80s, but the transition to this sort of beloved babyface in the 90s, was absolutely the right thing for him because people just wanted to cheer him, right? And that's the win. Hot Rod, the Intercontinental Champion. And the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. Absolutely.
It's so energetic. He almost threw himself out the ring.
Yeah, absolutely. What's he got there now? Is that a taser? A moose prod, because he's Canadian, isn't he?
A moose prod.
Moose prod. So he holds the title for a few months after this, doesn't he? And then I think Bret Hart challenged him.
Shocking development. He sees her in it. Oh!
Absolutely. Piper holds the Intercontinental title for a few months after this, and then I think Bret Hart challenges him at WrestleMania. And that's an iconic match in itself.
Yeah.
Where we got Piper and Bret, WrestleMania 8. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And the Mountie sort of pretty much fades into mid-card obscurity after this, and then later re-emerges in the Quebecers. But in terms of the Mountie being a huge personality in the WWF, this is pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's this first year for him, and then it sort of fades away.
Well, bear in mind, during this time, that this was sort of the highest accolade that Piper had won.
Yeah, not a big belt guy as we go through. Didn't spend a lot of time as a champion.
Shame, but he was so good.
Intercontinental title was perfect for him there, right? Even as a heel, years before, if he'd have won the Intercontinental title.
Now
we're getting back to Alfred.
Piper is iconic to the point where He didn't need a belt.
I'm going to click pause here, Matt Burns, because I've got an ad.
Okay.
Have you got an ad?
Have you got an ad?
I've got an ad, yeah.
You've got an ad?
No. I mean, Netflix is playing an ad. So just hitting pause at 36 minutes 51.
You're not going to believe this. I've got it bang on. I'll just pause
Here we go. And play. And now we're back at 36 minutes 57, 58, 59, if you just want to catch up with us. We've got Lord Alfred Hayes going into Hulk Hogan's dressing room.
Brother.
Talking about the Royal Rumble.
But then again, speaking of Hogan, oops. Bear in mind,
I mean,
he's famous. He's famous. He's worldwide known there. You've got the Hulksters and everything. Now it's like, no.
Yeah, and I'm trying to listen to this interview, but it's basically Hogan, classic Hogan gibberish before a match. Let me tell you something, brother. And Mean Gene has got the Bushwhackers with the Genius. Oh, Jameson, rather. The Genius is in the corner of the Beverly Brothers.
Oh.
It's funny, isn't it? Because the Bushwhackers, if you go back to where they were, I mean, you can see there on the forehead is that Luke?
Yeah.
These were like hardcore wrestlers before hardcore wrestlers were a thing. These were deathmatch wrestlers before that was a thing. Some of the matches they had in the likes of Memphis, some real bloodbaths.
Yeah, I believe that was when they were known as the Shepherds.
That's it, yeah. The Dudleys before there were Dudleys.
Speaking of the Dudleys, all three of them, here's a question for you.
Okay.
Who's the oldest?
Out of the Dudleys? I know the answer to this. I saw it, and I'm sorry because I've seen this online today, but I can't believe Spike Dudley's the oldest, right?
Exactly.
Madness.
Maybe that's why a bit later on in his career he developed into the boss.
The boss.
If you remember, he became the boss of the Dudleys. If you remember, the big boss.
He did. I do remember that. That's madness.
Because think about it, he was the littler brother, but if you notice, he's actually the older brother. So it's like, hang on, what's going on here? But it's brilliant.
As we're at 39-41, I think now, Matt Burns.
Yep.
If you're watching
This was an individual. This is an individual I think was really, really good. Very, very good at his promo work.
The Genius?
Yeah.
Damien Sandow's dad?
Yes. But what I find interesting is not everybody realizes who his brother is.
Yeah. And he only got his job because of his brother too, right?
You could, but the difference is he also invented himself in such a great way.
Yeah, and they absolutely used him to his strengths, but being the brother of the Macho Man Randy Savage does have its benefits, right?
It has its benefits, but also it's also got a bit of negatives as well, because if you think about it, he's the brother of the Macho Man.
Yeah. So the Beverly Brothers, I think during this time, pushed pretty much as an upper mid-card tag team. They weren't major threats, but they filled a role as like a credible heel duo, which is, well, you need those, right? Whereas the Bushwhackers, obvious fan favorites, despite them being comedy acts, they are a far cry from those brutal personas in the pre-WWF days. And you said it before, but they were the sheep herders.
Yeah.
Not the shepherds, the sheep herders. That's what it was.
Yeah. Sheep herders, yeah.
I've got it in my notes here. And I think tag teams like this, not just like the Bushwhackers, but the Beverly Brothers as well, they serve the purpose, right? So they keep the crowd entertained, but they don't overshadow the more serious matches that we've got to come. So after this, we've obviously got the Legion of Doom match and then the 30-man Royal Rumble, which we talked about earlier on in the show, but it's absolutely stacked with so much talent.
If I'm not mistaken, right, didn't the Beverly Brothers have a tag team finishing maneuver that sort of got labeled as one of the most dangerous moves?
Did it?
Yeah, they did at one point here because I believe it was like it looked like a modified 3D, but the difference was it was like a 3D before the actual 3D.
Oh, right.
But the difference
I'm
was
unsure whether we'll see it in this now.
I don't think no, I highly doubt you'll see that move on the Bushwhackers because I think if one of them got that move done onto them, I think one of them would have got up and just actually stopped them.
They'd have gone back to being the sheep herders.
Oh, pretty much because as one of them threw one up, the other one sort of face jammed them into the canvas. And Nana, one of the times I saw it, it was just absolutely brutal because it looked like the individual sort of planted his head into the ground.
And this is sort of the last sort of hurrah for the Bushwhackers, really, because after this, from what I can gather, or what I remember about the time, is they sort of transition after this into more of a ambassador role for the WWF. So you see them a little bit less, and they become a little bit, they're still that comedy act, but you see them a little bit less on TV. And, this is one of the last hurrahs for them over the next 12 months.
I think they actually got some.
I'm not saying they were done, but the sort of the last hurrah over the next 12 months for them, and then you start to see them much less.
Yeah.
Whereas the Beverly Brothers, they never really made any significant waves in the WWF, did they?
No. They were a unique team.
The Bushwhackers, you're right, they were.
No, Beverly Brothers.
Oh.
Because if I'm not
Mike Enos and Wayne Bloom, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But also known as Bo Beverly and Blake Beverly currently.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even so, absolutely great team. If I'm not mistaken, they did sort of end up in WCW at some point for about a year.
I think they were in WCW before this and maybe went back in the 90s.
No. Yes, they did.
In the late 90s, I think they went back, but they were in WCW before this. But the main place where they had any success was from what I've heard on Eric Bischoff's podcast. Obviously, a big AWA guy. I'm not a big AWA guy, so hopefully I'm not wrong here. But I'm pretty sure they were the AWA Tag Team Champions before they went anywhere else. I think that's where they started.
Yep. You've hit the nail.
Are you fact checking me? Good.
No,
because I could have been talking absolute rubbish there.
No. You're actually spot on. It initially started in 1989. And as you said, during their near enough, I believe they won the AWA World Tag Team Tournament during that year. They did have a one-time AWA World Tag Team Championship. They were considered the PWI Rookie of the Year.
Oh, and when they first started?
Yep.
They don't look like rookies, though, do they? I wonder how old they are at this point. 1992.
1992. Well, Mike Enos was
he was almost 25 in 1989 or 1988 when he 1988 when he debuted. He was nearly 25, and then Wayne Bloom, a little bit older, so he'd have been like 30 when he made his debut.
Yeah,
both trained by Brad Riggins, who was huge in the AWA, amateur wrestler. Did do a little bit in WWF, in the
Actually,
80s, very briefly.
you mentioned that Brad was the one who trained them. That was just Wayne Balloon. Mike Enos was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, trained by Eddie Sharkey.
All right, okay. Good to know.
He was trained by Eddie Sharkey. But again, during this time, a lot of the workers that we're seeing on here now for this big event, you got some individuals who were absolutely great, who ended up becoming great teachers. Some of the future wrestlers.
Yeah. Let's talk about something else just while we've got a couple of minutes.
Yep.
Let's talk about an award actually on our TBT Awards show. If you missed that, go back and listen to last week's episode or find it on the YouTube. The WWE TNA deal continues, if you like. The working partnership continues, and this is so clever of WWE, right? Can I just tell you why I think it's so clever? Because they were obviously sued by MLW, $10 million for creating a monopoly, not letting anybody else, etc., etc., etc. And obviously they needed to do something, otherwise everybody was going to start lawsuiting them. So they signed this deal with TNA so they can go, look, we're helping this promotion. We're not bullies. We're not creating a monopoly. We're helping TNA. Whereas on the other hand, they're counter-programming AEW All In with a Saturday night's main event free on NBC. Like, just...
Well, you know,
absolute wrong-uns in the best way. I love it. I actually love it as a strategy.
It is, but the difference is what's so good about this is the fact that could also lead to one of the predictions that we'd actually made for 2025 as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Which was?
Say his name and he will appear in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, we'd love to see Joe Hendry in the Rumble. I've got another prediction though now. I think we might see John Cena at TNA. Did you see the tweet today? John Cena sent the tweet out. I would love that to be true.
Or
John Cena in TNA.
Or I hope they actually correct on one mistake that they haven't done yet.
And get AJ Styles over there.
That needs to happen.
Do you know why I think that hasn't happened yet anyway?
Why?
So I don't think they want to waste a return of AJ Styles on TNA TV. I think he'll be back at the Rumble. And I think then he might go over and do something. I would love to see your mate over there, a former partner of one, Ethan Page, versus AJ Styles. I would absolutely love that.
Oh, Josh Alexander.
I would love to see AJ Styles and Josh Alexander.
Yeah, the walking weapon. Another one I would love to see is the Hardys make a sort of come over with the TNA tag team titles.
Yeah, I'm a bit done with the Hardys. I can see it in the Rumble.
No. I'm not saying on the main roster. I mean NXT.
Yeah, I mean I can see it as a one-off. I'm not a huge fan of having the Hardys. We've done the Hardys. Do you know what I mean? We've done it. We've had the return. The New Day announced them. Out they came.
No, but I feel as though the Hardys could give a bit of extra credibility to the NXT.
So I would like to see the Hardys, TNA Tag Team Champions, versus Fraxium, for example. I think that'd be really cool.
And then potentially return the favor with them going over to TNA.
Yeah.
Good ring awareness, that was.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like we've almost ignored this match, but it is a bit of a nothing match on the card. Obviously, a lot of the big stars are waiting for the Rumble.
Yeah, no, but to be honest with you, I had to credit that because that was good ring awareness. And you don't normally see that from
the Bushwhackers.
From the good guys, the good individuals.
Yeah,
it's normally like the villains who normally
baby faces.
Yeah. It's normally the villains, the heels who are normally putting their feet on the ropes and everything. But still, it goes to show that good ring awareness can come into play at any time.
At any time, absolutely. Any time in your career, any time you want it to.
Oh, look at that, working the crowd.
Working the crowd. You don't see much of that on TV or pay-per-view anymore, do you?
The last time I saw it, and I can't believe I was actually there to witness it in person, Mark Henry.
Love Mark Henry, you know.
Mark Henry
Randy Orton probably is the most obvious person who works the crowd like continuously when he's on. You know, things like the taunt, etc. before the RKO. He does tend to give it the big cheer.
Yeah.
Roman is quite good at it as well. Roman does it in his own style, especially when he's on the comeback as a babyface. I've seen a lot more of it, but he used to as a heel as well, not just the triple the strength of his spear, but also in some of the stuff that he does between when he was a heel, especially when he's sort of jeering the crowd and like,
he's ribbing him.
Yeah. You see lots of it from him, but not a lot from the whole roster, which is either something that makes him special or something that everybody else is missing. Yeah. I am not sure what happened there in the ring, but
a bit of a clash of minds.
I want to say that's Butch and might be Luke actually, but whatever happened, it was ugly.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's a bit like the Chuckle Brothers. I couldn't tell you which one's which.
What it was, that was bowling shoe ugly.
Bowling shoe ugly.
It wasn't
Matt Bain's beard ugly.
It wasn't pretty, but it got the job done.
Well, you know all about that.
But anyway,
moving on.
Like we said, this is to me, I feel as though, like you said, like with this, it's a good match. Too many at the time, but like you said, we've got for this entire event 3 hours.
Yeah, this feels filler, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It is classic Triple H booking, though, you know, this is. I know he didn't book it at this point, but it's 5 matches on the card. I get that one's the Rumble, but it's 5 matches on the card.
And, you know, it's not like you're absolutely insane and deciding to try and attempt to do a Rumble show with 6 matches and try to do it within 2 or 3 hours. I'm not saying anybody who's tried that on the UK scene. I don't know anybody. Oops. But yeah.
The genius just absolutely put him down there. What was his name again? What's his name?
You're on about Jameson.
Jameson, yeah. The genius just put Jameson down. His name isn't in my notes, like he's just been forgotten from time.
I'm just trying to think. I think he was only known for...
Is it bleeding? It's literally just been slapped and now he's up going, is it bleeding? Bushwhackers break up the pin attempt from the Beverly Brothers.
An old-fashioned net breaker.
The Beverly Brothers are not good, you know.
No.
Can we just check time here, Matt Baines? I'm at 55, 14, 15, 16. Are you about the same?
I'm actually 1 second ahead of you. I'm literally bang on with the clock.
Oh, cool.
Don't know how I've done it. I just got lucky.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, after this match, I think I've got another break queued up. So we'll pause the clock briefly for that. I'm not sure why I'm getting ads on this. I certainly didn't get ads on when I was watching Raw, NXT, and SmackDown on Netflix this week. Thank you very much, WWE and Netflix in the UK. We like this. Yes, Scott likes this. Absolutely.
Oh, no. This is the Burning Truth approved.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for anybody that's been listening and watching along for 59, nearly 60 minutes now. We're nearly an hour deep into this watch along.
And also we're adding comments in as well, because bear this in mind, this is going to be one of our longest episodes and longest lives.
Yeah, but I'm enjoying it so far, Matt Burns, and that's the point, right? If we enjoy this format, then we might carry it on and do some more watch-alongs.
Yeah, and yeah, if anybody's got any requests of certain events, throw them in.
Yeah, this one was an event. It was a request, right? They wanted it, the Royal Rumble '92, and here we are doing it. So, do you want to get us the name of who requested it, actually? Because they might be listening back on the podcast. It'd be great to give them a shout out, Matt Burns.
Yeah, not a problem. I'll look that up for you quickly right now.
Bushwhackers breaking up the pin attempt again.
Ooh.
Can I just make an observation here, Matt Burns? The Beverly Brothers are not good. Big axe handle smash.
Yeah. And not using the original finish.
Under 3. Beverly Brothers get the win. Jameson's not happy about it. The Genius is loving it. And the Bushwhackers getting some heat back on him to end the match. Double back elbow.
I have just got the name, so I am going to apologise in advance already. I am going to apologise in advance because I feel like I'm about to butcher it. It was Nick, I believe it's Nick Opal Whiskey. Who
I wouldn't even want to guess, Matt Burns, but yeah, thanks very much, Nick, for requesting this.
Yep. Thank you very much.
I'm gonna say Opaleski.
Yeah,
you just sent me the text. Yeah, Opaleski is what I would say, Matt Burns. Oh, yeah. And now is Jameson gonna hit the Genius?
It is gonna happen.
He's winding it up.
Oh, the deadly kick to the shin. And in the back.
Kicked him in the back. And the Genius goes out. Yeah, brilliant, Matt Burns.
I believe Jameson was also known as a comedian. He was a comedian.
Right.
During that time.
I was 3 years old when this came out, Matt Burns. That's way before my time. In fact, I wasn't even 3. I was about 2.5.
I was 4.5.
The half's important, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
As we see Jameson and the Bushwhackers celebrating around the ring.
Because I feel like if I don't say the half, right, people are going to sit there and just sit there and think to myself, he was born during this time.
And here we go. We've got the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, with Mean Gene, the tag team champions, for an interview.
One of my favorite tag teams. This was
rightly so, Matt Burns.
One of my favorite tag teams, genuinely. And the weird thing about it is 9 out of 10 times, what's so interesting about them is most people would instantly think that they would be the perfect villains, and yet they got over so well for such a powerhouse team.
Couldn't agree more, mate. We still got the belts, says Hawk.
Hawk he was so good on the mic.
And the natural disasters. We got who we got here? We got Tugboat and Earthquake. Is that right?
Yep. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that I know someone who got mistaken for him.
Earthquake.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah.
My son, my 5-year-old, genuinely still thinks that his Earthquake action figure is you.
That's what I was into that as well.
You've got a better hairline, and he's got a better beard.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And here's Jimmy Hart as well. And you know Earthquake's double hard because he isn't wearing knee pads.
Yeah. Or elbow pads either.
Oh, Typhoon. I thought it was a tugboat. Or is Typhoon tugboat? Have I got that wrong?
Typhoon is tugboat.
Well, there you go. That's why I'm confused.
No, technically you were correct, but he became tugboat later.
I thought he'd been tugboat before. Because the whole tugboat Hogan thing was before Slaughter and Hogan. And when was that? That was WrestleMania. Oh, no, you might be right. Was that WrestleMania? I'm not sure now.
Nope,
Find out
right.
when Slaughter and Hogan was.
Nope, you're right. My apologies. He was tugboat before he was Typhoon.
There you go.
You were correct.
Yeah, Slaughter Hogan Mania was before this.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
he was.
Was that the one before that? Was it WrestleMania 7? Was it?
Well, if you think about it, before he was tugboat, he was Big Steel Man.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was Big Steel Man in dark matches, but then he became Tugboat Taylor, then Tugboat Thomas, and then just decided to drop the surname and just became Tugboat.
Tugboat.
And then became part of the Natural Disasters and become Typhoon.
So this is a good one, right? So this is the Natural Disasters. Like I said, Earthquake and Typhoon. They are massive and physically dominant, aren't they?
Yeah.
But they haven't got the same aura. I'll use the word aura as the Legion of Doom. So the Hawk and Animal, they're the tag team champions at this time, but the legends in the industry. They've made the name in the NWA, the AWA. You know, it's called Road Warrior Pop for a reason, right?
Yeah.
In a lot of places they're the biggest act in the company when they're there. Obviously, the WWF has Hogan and has some huge stars, and the Legion of Doom are just a part of that. They're not the center stars of this, and this is a different era from when they were, you know, A1 and what's 1A and 1B.
And what's interesting with the Road Warrior / Legion of Doom is that their popularity all inadvertently came about because a ring announcer made a mistake.
Really?
Yeah.
Go on then.
The mistake was they were wrestling, doing local shows and everything, doing everything. And if you've got a villainous team, regardless of if you're villainous or not, bit of a tip for you. If you're a ring announcer and you've got the villainous team coming out, don't mention their hometown if you're in it.
Ah, okay.
Because of it, that's when they actually got their first big, massive pop, and the crowd went nuts. They were literally victimizing their opponents, hitting them with chairs and everything, trying to do everything evil. The crowd were going, yes!
But people love the Road Warriors. And while you're watching this match, Matt Baines, I want you to think about the Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY. And I want you to look at this match, and I want you to see how much tag team wrestling has evolved since the early 90s.
I don't even have to finish watching it. You can tell the vast difference.
The Natural Disasters, though, you know, one of the few teams in this era that can match Legion of Doom for size and power. In fact, you know, outmatch them for size and power. So that makes it a really interesting match because Legion of Doom are the baby faces, and they feel like baby faces against the bigger guys.
In case in point, the fact that you just saw Earthquake leap off his feet.
Miss a drop kick. Good, though.
The thing is, it's still impressive for somebody to do that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially Earthquake.
Yeah. And the thing that I think the difference between then and now is, yes, the style has changed, but at the same time, is the aura the same? Is the aura between two teams like this the same as what is happening now? Or is it different? Because I feel as though in some aspects, some of the old school ways had some unique ways of doing things. You know, the old added saying of less is more at times.
Yeah.
I know some people can sit there and say, but yeah, if less is more, then more is more. Not always the case. Case in point, you got Animal picking up Earthquake and holding him for a few seconds and then just crumbling away, you know, caving in. That's telling a good story there. And the thing about it is, it didn't need to be rushed.
Did you know Earthquake, John Tenter, Golga, in case you're wondering?
Yeah.
Did you know that his sumo record, undefeated in 24 matches?
Yes.
Undefeated sumo, 24 matches. And I don't know if it happens before this or after this, or it could happen right now, actually, so I might shut up. But the natural disasters do at some point. It might be here, actually, because I'm not sure now. They do win the tag team titles at some point during this run. Let's not give the game away in case they do on this one.
I'm not. But if you look at the match now, they're doing like little moments that are quick, but then the match slows down. They're letting it breathe. If you get what I mean.
Yeah. You ready for a dad joke?
Let's hear it.
What's a dad joke? Why was Earthquake so good at his job?
Go on.
Because he knew how to make a big impact. Oh, it's a bad one. Oh, big elbow drop.
Yeah.
On Hawk from John Tenter, Earthquake.
Yeah. But I will say
the shark? Is that
yeah, he became the Shark, yes.
The Shark. Wowzer.
Although I know that Fred Otter, is it Fred Otterman? Tugboat. Typhoon.
Yeah.
He in his mind, he wants to stay exactly during these gimmicks right now. He doesn't want to transition to the next gimmick in his mind.
Yeah.
Do you remember what the next gimmick was?
No.
WCW. He's going to shock the world.
Yes, the Shockmaster. Awful. Sad, actually. John Tenter died in 2006. He was just 15 days shy of his 43rd birthday. Bladder cancer.
Yeah.
Bladder cancer he died of. But apparently, you know, people in the business remember him as such a nice guy, you know, a really, really good guy. And a big friend of Hogan. I think Hogan got him into WCW after he finished with WWF.
The thing is, he is such a good worker. But the thing is, as much as he can play the big villain and everything, everyone always credited him on being such a nice individual. And bear in mind, as part of the oddities, he didn't have to do that.
Golga, man. Oh, brilliant.
He didn't have to do that. But the thing is, do you know why he actually wore the gold mask?
Go on.
Because they didn't want to because he lost that much weight. Genuinely, he lost a lot of weight. And a lot of people, as he said, they might not recognize him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they didn't.
They would have recognized if he'd come back as Earthquake, mate. They would have recognized him. I don't buy that at all. No, it was just a different time, and they didn't want that gimmick.
I think the reason why is because they wanted to keep Earthquake as Earthquake during the time, but I think they were just trying something new.
But I think if they'd brought Earthquake back in 98, 99, whenever it was, and they'd given him a bit of a push, and they'd give him the jobber treatment, like as in the enhancement matches treatment, and had him run through a couple of nobodies, we could have built up a credible challenger for somebody like Steve Austin to beat. Very quickly, because Earthquake's a massive well, he wasn't a massive name, but he was a big enough name that they could have got a pay-per-view main event out of it. I think, anyway. You know, somebody for Austin to bring. You've got to remember he matches with, you know, Mankind or Dude Love at the time. Wasn't Cactus Jack for Stone Cold, was it? But you know, matches with Dude Love, Mankind, Undertaker, Kane. He went through all those guys, didn't he?
Well, just look here. Just something as simple, just putting the hand out. Boom, there's the tag. Straight in.
Here comes Animal.
Get the speed in. Oh. Oh.
This is the clothesline. And Animal with the big shoulder tackle. Huge bump, that, for Earthquake to take.
Yeah.
He didn't have to take that bump.
But look here, a better time. Boom. Both of them didn't need to go down, but they did.
Really putting him over here.
This is what I mean.
And rightly so. I mean, the Road Warriors have earned it over time, right?
Yeah.
Good match, actually. You know, I give this a bit of grief at the start, saying you think about DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns and think about this and think about how times moved on. But this has been a quality match. I would give this some bangers. Let me tell you.
And here it is.
Oh, we had a count out.
Yep.
You don't win the belts on a count out, guys. That's WWF rules. Oh,
yeah.
They come with chairs. I think he was going to hit Animal with it then. Boom. Big chair shot.
Yeah.
The Legion of Doom still the tag team champions. Really good that, you know. If you get a chance to go back and watch this event, or if you're not watching along with us now, you know, don't just watch the Royal Rumble match. Watch this Natural Disasters versus Legion of Doom match.
Oh, yeah.
It's surprised there. Because I've watched the Royal Rumble over the last, 10 years, probably quite a few times. It's on the Ric Flair DVD. So I've watched it a few times, but I've never watched this tag team match. In fact, I don't think I've ever watched this pay-per-view start to finish.
Interesting. Interesting. The weird thing about it is, if I'm not mistaken, the Legion of Doom didn't actually lose the belts to the Natural Disasters.
All right, okay. As we go through the year.
Yeah, as we go through the year. It was actually...
If you're watching along with us on YouTube, sorry, Matt Baines, if you're watching along with us on YouTube, Peacock, or if you're watching on your DVD, we're currently 1 hour, 14 minutes and 18, 19, 20 seconds through. That's the timer at the bottom of the screen, just so you know where we are, and we can watch along and talk about it. Go on, Matt Burns. Sorry, talk to me about Legion of Doom.
You know, the thing about it is, you were not far from when the Natural Disasters won it, but the actual interesting thing about it was, it wasn't the Natural Disasters who took the belt off them. It was actually Money Inc. who took the belts off them.
Oh, right, IRS and the $1 Million Man.
Yep. It was Money Inc. who took them.
Yeah,
and then what?
I'm not happy.
And then what's even more interesting is who won it after Money Inc.
Do you know what, Matt Baines? You look very angry here in this interview.
I'm pretty sure if that was me, I would be living over it. I won the match.
I'm going to get a drink.
That's fine. Do what you need to do. I'll keep talking. But just to add on to it, the Natural Disasters ended up winning it after Money Inc. won it. So, and the weird thing about it is that when the Legion of Doom lost it, it wasn't even at a big event. It was actually at a house show. So, which is interesting because, again, this is where we got it to the point where house shows mattered. And I feel as though that was a great way to do it. But as you say right now, we are at 1:16:05 06, 07. And Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan are just arguing and disagreeing over the tag team titles. Oh. Just been talking about 2 titles. Have been decided. Let's get on to more. And here's Hot Rod speaking about his celebrations of becoming the Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, and you know what? We just talked about. I heard that what you were saying there about later in the year, it happens at a house show.
Yeah,
that we have that title change, and we've just talked about the Mountie beating Bret Hart in a house show for the Intercontinental title as well. So they were really pushing the house shows at this point. Anything can happen,
and that's what was so interesting.
It's up to a live event,
and that's what was so interesting. The fact that it could happen at any time. Who? Oh, that's a good point. Has that ever actually happened?
What?
The Intercontinental Champion winning the Rumble?
No, because when Warrior won the Rumble, when Warrior went to WrestleMania to fight for the WWF Championship as the Intercontinental Champion, he did winning the Rumble and getting the title shot wasn't a thing.
It's interesting. No, that's what I'm saying. It's interesting.
Here's HBK. How did Jannetty get knocked out of the Rumble?
The classic moment.
I forgot how close we were to this. We're literally on the heels of the barbershop.
Yeah. Bam!
So we've got the Rumble coming. We're obviously watching the classic Michaels barbershop window.
Yeah.
Split up of the Rockers here.
Yeah.
Before Shawn Michaels has his interview. And just to give you some context on this Royal Rumble match, because the point is, that's why we're all here, right?
Yeah.
So the WWF titles vacated after 2 controversial Hogan-Undertaker matches in late 91. Survivor Series 91, Undertaker defeated Hogan after Ric Flair slides a chair into the ring for Undertaker's tombstone, the one where Hogan really hurt his neck.
Brother, you got me.
Yeah, absolutely nowhere near the chair. And then Tuesday in Texas, Hogan wins via shenanigans, if you like, but Jack Tunney declares the result is tainted, and so he vacates the title. So Jack Tunney at this time, president of the WWF. And that's why we have the title vacated. And here's Nate. This is a Coliseum video exclusive if you're watching on Netflix. And Ric Flair letting everybody know that he drew number 3 nice and early.
The real
names. Yeah, when your name's Ric Flair and you're the real World Heavyweight Champion.
The fact
and we all think about the women's title though, going from WWF to WCW and going in the bin. Ric Flair literally turned up on their program with his title from WCW and said he's the real world champion.
And what was so genius about it is he legally could take the belt because he actually paid for it.
Madness.
He actually paid for that belt.
Madness.
The big gold belt, that was actually Ric Flair's. He actually paid for it. So straight away, WCW was trying to argue with him over it, saying, that's our belt, that's our brand. It's like, I want your money for it. You haven't paid me. I paid for it. It's in my name.
So Undertaker's literally been in the WWE for maybe 18 months max.
Yeah.
At this point, we've got Macho Man Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, Sid Justice. We've got Ric Flair in this, British Bulldog. We've got some huge names in this Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And we're right at the start of that, dominating run of the Undertaker, that, decade spanning career.
Yeah. And Macho just declaring that he's going back.
He's getting back to the top of the mountain.
The cream of the crop.
Cream always rises to the top.
You want to snap into a Slim Jim?
Dig it.
Sid Justice knows how to bring intensity, even when he flubs his lines.
Do you know what? Apart from that famous promo, he wasn't the worst promo in the world, was he, Sid?
No. Far from it. The thing is, even like,
remembered for the bad ones, though. Yeah.
Even if he did give a bad promo, you didn't dare question him, because if you were there, the intensity he gives to you. I'm looking at the screen right now, and I feel like, should I be scared for my life right now?
All I can say is, we're alive, pal.
Repo Man. I love it. Even to this day, Repo Man always gets a shout out, especially with somebody who does a here's why, if I'm not mistaken. You got it straight away.
It just makes me very warm in my tum-tum.
Exactly.
This is the best impression I could do. If he ever watches this, I'm so sorry. I can't imagine he would, but here's the bulldog.
Yeah.
Do you think he looks like a muscly Peter Kay? Don't he? I always thought this. If Peter Kay had muscles, he would look like a British Bulldog.
Wow.
Steps in the Royal Rumble. That's not right. I get in the Rumble first. And Gene's there. That's not right. Gene's been locked in.
Oh, wow.
If you're watching along with us, we're now at 1 hour, 23 minutes and 34, 35, 36 seconds. And thank you for watching along with us. I'm having real fun here, Matt Baines. I don't know about you.
Oh, I'm loving it. And right now we've got Jake the Snake Roberts, the man who is absolutely, everyone can sit there saying he was poison, but the toxin he was producing he was getting rid of lack of, poor entertainment and keeping it good entertainment. He was so good.
What a fantastic mustache. Woo!
Yeah. Just hearing Flair unleash his absolute pure energy. It's brilliant.
This is peak Flair.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Entry at number 3. And he's jumped from WCW at this time, and his legacy. Yeah. Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan are the biggest stars of American wrestling of the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Hogan, because of, he's Hulk Hogan, it's WWF, it's worldwide, it's gone absolutely nuts. But Ric Flair, because he's the lead of the alternative at this time.
He was, yeah. And
that classic NWA, Ric Flair is that.
And I think the fact that he actually coined the phrase to be the man, you've got to beat the man. It's such good. But even here, Undertaker, straight away, even his promo, you can see it fitting for the Undertaker.
Undertaker and Paul Bearer. And then here's the Hulkster, Real American Beer. Has Hogan got Dom heat?
No, he's got Hogan heat. He's got pure Hogan heat. You know it's Hogan heat when it goes past, when even Dom says, too far, bro, too far.
Question, right? WWE, WWF, for years we're trying to get a beer sponsorship, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think they ever got their hands on one. They had a couple of sponsorship bits with Coors when Austin was around, but they never really got the big sponsor for years and years and years.
I believe they
And I'm
ended up
talking, but I'm not talking recent memory. I'm talking for a long time.
Yeah.
As we got into the late 90s, early 2000s, could never get a beer sponsor. And now Hogan's got a beer, and we're obviously sponsoring WWE. They're trying their best to flog that. But I always wonder why WWF at the time didn't invest in their own beer with Austin when he was at his peak.
Well, Austin ended up doing his own beer.
Yeah, he did. But I mean, when he was working with the business and he was the number one guy, why they didn't invest in having their own Steve Weisers and selling it? Right, I'm at an ad, so I'm just going to give this a quick pause. 126.49.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to pause with us and keep yourselves at 126.49, and I'll let you know when I'm going to press play again. But if you're interested in Polestar 4, I'm not. But if you are, it's on there. Okay.
Polestar 4.
Okay, so 126.49. In 3, 2, 1, play. And it is now time for the Royal Rumble.
You ready for this? Shocking again.
We've been building up for the last.
I've still got it on the same time.
Good. So we've been on the podcast now for 1 hour, 31 minutes, 22 seconds. So thank you for joining us if you've been here the whole way. It is now time for the Royal Rumble. And here is the man himself, the Fink, giving the rules for the Royal Rumble. But he needs to hurry up because it's only an hour match. And if you are watching along, as I've just said, we're at 1 hour, 27 minutes and 27, 28, 29 seconds.
And it's so good.
And again, just talking back to the big point of this, it's about the WWF title. This is the first time the Royal Rumble is for the WWF Championship. I love this ring look, the blue post, the red, white, and blue ropes, even the purple maroony Royal Rumble skirt that they've got going on.
Yeah.
And there's the WWF, the classic Winged Eagle WWF Championship. Kevin Owens is parading around with these days. And this promo from Jack Tunney, I have watched this recently, and it is absolutely pointless. So the Finks just spent 10 minutes telling us that the winner's going to be the champion. And then Jack Tunney comes and says the exact same thing. Literally word for word, it's the same thing. And he says thank you and gets out of the ring.
Pretty much, which is why I think it's a bit difficult when you're doing that face authority figure.
Yeah, but he just didn't need to be there, did he? I think they did it so it seemed like a big deal. But actually, if they were going to do that, then the Fink should have just shut up after he'd finished saying the rules and let Jack Tunney say that it was for the WWF title. And here we go. Number one, coming to the ring. It's the British Bulldog, Davey Boy. And at this point, he was announced from Leeds, England, as opposed to Manchester. Who do you think did his hair?
No, don't know.
I'd love to know who braided Davey Boy's hair, whether it was him, whether it was somebody's family, or whether he went to a salon and had it done properly. And here comes number two, the $1 Million Man, with sensational Sherry. I forgot that Sherry was with the $1 Million Man.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's got a prize. It's funny that $1 Million Man, one of the biggest heels in the business at this point, and we have not mentioned him all the way through this. An hour and a half into this podcast, an hour and a half into this show, And this is the first time we've even mentioned the $1 Million Man in this era.
And
Other
he
than when we
was-
talked about Money Inc. winning the tag titles.
Yeah, but such a good villain. Such a good, hated villain.
Yeah, obviously, really integral to the WrestleMania 3 feud between Hogan and Andre. If it hadn't been for Ted DiBiase and the evil Dave Earl Hebner at the main event, we never would have had the title held up, and then we never would have got Hogan and Andre at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Hogan Andre, and then Macho Man and
You got me thinking now. But again, straight away, this shows that Ted DiBiase's, mat work was absolutely on point here. And he
we've got
was.
a comment from Amber Matt Burns. Amber wants to know, who do you think will start the Rumble this year?
Ooh. As in entry number 1 and 2?
Yeah, I think so.
Ooh.
And asking you that as Ted DiBiase gets eliminated. Number 2 didn't last too long. My number 2s never do.
Oh, that's bad. That's a bad dad joke.
Number 1 and number 2 this year, I think. It's very difficult. Maybe Carmelo, and maybe LA Knight. Be good 1 and 2 this year.
Ooh.
And here comes Nate, number 3. Woo!
Yeah. I don't know why. A part of me wonders if Mysterio might be either number 1 or number 2.
Ray's a good shout.
Ray's a good shout.
Nate's on his way to the ring, accompanied by Mr. Perfect.
And
the real world champion.
Yep. And a close second.
Come on, I'll put the question back on the screen in case you forgot it. Who do you think will start the Rumble this year? It's not a hard question, Matt Burns.
No, it's just trying to think of somebody who's got the stamina. You could go. Ray is a good pick. But the question that we've got to ask is, if whoever wins the championship matches, are they going to be in the Rumble match as well?
I mean, who knows?
Do we ever have 2 faces starting Rumbles?
Yeah, we've had that before, yeah.
Okay. I feel it might be Mysterio and main event Uso.
Oh, nice. That's cool. Jimmy and Jay be a good start as well.
Oh.
Or did we have that already? We had that a couple of last year.
Yeah. We had it the year before.
I did it again.
It worked.
As we've got Bulldog powering Nate and Nate having to go to the well and give him a quick thumb to the eye to take advantage.
Yeah.
And big clothesline from the Bulldog. I love the look of the Bulldog here. He looks $1 million, doesn't he? How the Bulldog was never had a reign as a credible singles champion in WWF is absolutely beyond me. If you're watching along with us, we're at 1 hour, 34 minutes, 21, 22, 23 seconds at the bottom of your screen. Thank you for watching along with us if you are. And Amber, thanks for your question about the Rumble. I hope our answers were right for you. Or maybe you wanted to know about the women's. If you want to know who I think was going to be first and second in the women's Royal Rumble, I can answer that too. For me, I think it will be Bayley and Piper Niven.
I think Chelsea Green and B-Fab.
B-Fab's a good shout. Here's what I'm interested in if you're watching along. I'm interested in what snacks you're eating while you're watching the Rumble with us. I've got some ricin.
What have you got?
Ricin.
Nice.
Like dark chocolate caramels. Well, nice.
You mean Reason?
Raisin. German, aren't
They
they?
were-
Raisin.
They were actually they're actually dubbed as Reason because you got to have a reason to eat them.
Whee. Well, I got them from Aldi.
Oh,
Do you know why it's called Aldi? Because it's
why?
open Aldi.
I was waiting for it.
As we watch the Bulldog trying to eliminate Ric Flair. Big chop from Flair.
Yeah.
Woo. Thanks for watching along with us. If you're watching along at home, the timer at the bottom is where we are currently in the Royal Rumble pay-per-view from 1992.
Oh,
As we wait for our next entrance, and it is Haku. Haku on his way to the ring. We've got Bulldog and Ric Flair in the ring.
that's one individual I would not want to mess with.
Yeah. What number entrance is this, mate?
I believe this is number 5.
And you know Haku's hard because he doesn't have to wear shoes.
Yeah. And the fact that people have got so many stories about him.
Yeah, well, that too. So the big stories coming into this, we've got the whole Hogan Undertaker, we've got Hogan and Sid Justice as well. Got a bit going on. Obviously, Ric Flair and the Real World's champion. Lots and lots going on in this era. Haku chasing Ric Flair off before he goes to work on British Bulldog. And the refs usher Ric Flair back into the ring. Under the ropes, so not an eliminated Matt Burns.
Yep. Important fact.
Another message from Amber. Thanks for watching along, Amber. She says, I think Sheamus will be 1, Dirty Dom 2 for the men's, and for women's, Bailey and Chelsea Green. Which is half of what you said and half of what I said.
Yeah.
I said Bailey, you said Chelsea Green, so there you go. Sheamus is a good call for number 1.
Yeah.
Because he isn't going to go, maybe he's got the stamina, but you want to see, for number 1, you want to see somebody that we're still going to see at maybe, 25. So,
yeah.
Well, do I still want to see Sheamus in the match at 25? I'm not sure. Do I still want to see Finn Balor at 25?
I don't think the locker room will.
Yeah, I'm going to change my tact. Actually, I think I'm going to change my choices for the men's. I'm going to say Finn Balor and Damian Priest.
Dom.
Yeah, that's a perfect 1 and 2.
With Dominic entry number 3.
Here comes Shawn Michaels. And if you think Dom looked silly in the cow print, here comes Michaels in cow print.
What's interesting with this is the fact that in this one, we've got a number of villains coming out all together at once.
Yeah.
Because we've only got one.
Do you think when this was going on that they thought that 20 years later, Michaels would be retiring Ric Flair at WrestleMania?
Oof. That's a good point. Especially with the I love you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I love you. So Bulldog has Shawn Michaels up in a press slam there. Why does he not throw him straight out? Logically.
Michaels. He might not have the balance, because if he steps forward, he might miss fall.
Rubbish logic, and you know it.
I'm just putting it out there. Have you ever pressed anybody? It's not easy.
Yeah. Not you, but I
have. It's not easy. Just because you did it in one Rumble, Scott.
You know me, I'm much more of a fan of a fall-away slam.
Oh. Knock him out, and never mind. That's what you're on about, isn't it? You could have sent him the other way.
So Michaels was in at number 6.
Yep.
And here's number 7 coming in. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Michael's keeping himself alive again. Tito Santana.
Yep. He wants to get the real world champion out.
Taking out Flair, yeah, absolutely. Tito Santana, former Intercontinental, former tag team champion. Heenan, absolutely desperate for Mr. Perfect to help Flair. And Michaels breaks that up. Flair down to the ground. Bulldog still down in there. Michaels and Tito in the ring. Everybody else eliminated so far. So we've already lost Ted DiBiase, Jerry Sags, Haku.
Yep, every man for himself. Oh, big back body drop.
That's another one. Where's the big back body drop count?
Oh, I like that. Hang on. Oh, the dirtiest player in the game.
I tell you who's in this match that we probably forget about. Kerry Von Erich's in this match as the Texas Tornado at some point. We haven't talked about him a lot. And the Von Erichs, obviously huge stars. Have you seen the film?
I have seen the film. Absolutely phenomenal. But I have, I did take an oath there a few years ago, so not talk about the Von Erichs.
Why?
Because we butchered it at the time.
Really?
Oh, we did.
Go on, tell me about how you butchered the Von Erichs.
It was literally, I believe, at the same time while we were trying to explain certain things, we were having to try do certain matter facts. And yes, Super Lee, 100% agree with you. RIP to the Texas Tornado.
Yeah, gone way too soon.
Yeah, and the thing is, that was what was such a shame for the Von Erich family. It was absolutely devastating what happened.
Tragic for the whole family. But thanks for your chat, Super Lee. Yeah, rest in peace, the Texas Tornado. And here comes the Barbarian. Oh, Chet. Flair with an absolutely humongous chop to Tito Santana there.
He felt that.
And the Barbarian trying to eliminate the Bulldog.
I think I'm actually a few seconds ahead of you. I think.
I'm at 1 minute 43, 12 seconds. Super Lee, thanks for watching along, fellas. Yeah, you're welcome, Super Lee.
Yeah.
This is the first watch along we've actually done together, and I think we're enjoying the format so far. So I think we might carry it on. Do you know what, Super Lee? I'm going to leave you on the screen till we get the next message because we genuinely really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, honestly, it's comments like that makes us appreciate. You know, makes it feel we're doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just wrestling fans having fun, right?
Ooh.
And that's what, if we can create a community and have fun together, that's what we're looking to do. So
I think I've managed to get us back on sync with each other on the times.
I've just got Michaels on the second row.
Yeah.
Ready to pounce. Bulldog hitting the Barbarian.
In the corner. Yeah,
Michaels comes down. Yeah, and there's the lockup. Tito and Michaels.
There we go. Oh, hang on.
Michaels has spent more time on the apron than I can't think of the joke there.
Oh, bear in mind, he was doing the Kofi before Kofi did it.
Absolutely.
He always saves himself.
Michaels upside down again. Bulldog's got him now. Ooh, that was close. Here comes.
Speaking of which,
here he comes. It's the Texas Tornado.
We just mentioned about him. Such a great hard worker.
And this is number 9, right?
This is number 9, yeah. Number 9. I'm trying to remember who was next now.
Oh, I don't know. I'm keeping it as a surprise for myself. Like I say, I haven't watched this back for the purposes of doing this because I thought we could just talk about it naturally. But
I've done the same. Oh, look at that. The classic tornado punch. Boom.
Kerry Von Erich, though, won the NWA World Title, so he's a former NWA champion.
I've just seen a move that we don't normally see nowadays.
Go on.
The slingshot.
Oh, yeah. Love a slingshot.
Yeah. The slingshot.
And if you're watching along at home, we've got the timer on the bottom of the screen, or if you're listening to the podcast in a couple of days and you are listening along, we're currently at 1 hour, 45 minutes and 51 seconds. So thank you for watching along with us. Texas Tornado absolutely doing Ric Flair in the front corner. And Tito Santana and the Barbarian doing things that my mother told me I should never talk about. You think about the career Ric Flair had before and after this, and Shawn Michaels.
That's what I'm saying. Right now, it's just an absolute marvel at what. Oh, Reaper Man!
Here he goes. Man.
Will he be making someone feel nice in his tum-tum? Or will he be stealing something?
Yeah. Loves him, doesn't he? Absolutely loves him. Reaper Man. Will he get in the ring? Won't he? Will he? Won't he? Whoever made Reaper Man's gear must have also made Mark Henry's gear when he was in the Nation of Domination. Because it's almost identical. Oh, big crossbody to the Barbarian.
Yeah.
And then saving the Bulldog. I never understand why the baby faces do that in Royal Rumble matches. Why do you save the other baby faces? Surely everyone being eliminated is the right thing.
Ooh. Straight away, the bodies are now stacking in, and we're getting into that area where there's going to be more brawling, if I'm not mistaken. Ooh,
big chop, big chops from Nate. Woo!
Gonna be feeling that tomorrow. Oh, but that's what you were saying back then.
For your first retro pay-per-view watch along, it's going great. Keep it up. Thanks, Amber. We're appreciating that. Really nice of you to say.
Yeah.
I think we'll definitely do more of these. And we're interested in your thoughts. What do you think we should do? Should we pick different events, or shall we carry on through 1993? 1992, sorry. Got the wrong year. Shall we carry on through 1992 and do the next event? I think WrestleMania was next. Shall we just keep watching along this year? But if you're listening, I've just had somebody join. So if you are watching along with us, we're at 1 hour, 48 minutes, 41 seconds of this 1992 Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Super Lee says carry on. Thanks, Super Lee. Carry on doing 1992. It is, Matt Burns.
Okay.
Oh, we got Greg in. Greg the Hammer Valentine.
The Hammer? No relation.
No.
No relation.
Famously one of Triple H's favorite wrestlers, right?
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Oh, hang on.
Amber says, I think carry on and doing special requests from time to time. That'd be pretty cool too, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
I agree. I think the thing is with 1992 is we'd want to do them roughly at the same time. So this is, so if we do the Royal Rumble now, if we do WrestleMania around April time, which is when the Royal Rumble would have been, we'll have a couple of months in between where we can maybe do some different things, maybe find some different shows to watch.
Yeah, I will say, I believe this is the Rumble that actually had the tagline, every man for himself. Isn't it?
I mean, I thought that was the tagline for most of them, Matt Burns. Maybe you correct me. I'm not sure.
No, the actual. I'm just looking it up now. The actual tagline that was on the poster: "Every man for himself."
Who's next? Oh, it's Nikolai Volkov. Brilliant.
Oh, you know, I find interesting that we've just said that we're going to continue on for the 1992.
Yeah.
Is that there's actually only 3 events left for the year.
So we could do some different stuff in between all that.
Yeah.
What we don't want to do is come too far away from the regular format we do for the podcast. So we'll probably only do one of these watch-alongs every month, right?
Yeah, every so often, because we've got the WrestleMania, which was in April 5th, 1992. Then there was the SummerSlam, which was August 29th of 1992, but it aired on the 31st. And then we got Survivor Series, which was November 25th, 1992.
You've got Greg Valentine here putting the figure 4 on Ric Flair. Nikolai Volkov just been eliminated. And Super Lee said, carrying on starts a solid base for us to join and follow along one of the greatest years of WWF. Absolutely. Can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Maybe we could, in the months that we're not doing this, Matt Burns, maybe we could maybe poke our head in on some WCW and see what's going on that side.
Ooh. That could be interesting. Just have a little gander into WCW.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes the big boss man.
If you ever take a trip down to Georgia. So, fun story about the big boss man. One of my friends, my wrestling friends, the first time he ever turned WWE on, the match was Hardcore Holly versus the Big Boss Man. So for about 10 minutes, the Big Boss Man was his favorite wrestler. And then the next segment, The Rock comes out, and now The Rock's his favorite wrestler ever. But for 10 minutes, the Big Boss Man was his favorite wrestler. And I'm talking like the later 90s version of the Big Boss Man. So we're talking like the SWAT gear Boss Man, as in the casket dragging Boss Man. Repo Man's been eliminated.
So the deranged Boss Man was his favorite wrestler.
Yeah, because he watched him beat Hardcore Holly.
Looks like Super Lee's enjoying himself, listening to the commentary. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, Super Lee.
But yeah, the Battle of the Hairdos.
Absolutely. I mean, that is a great way to sum up 1992 Royal Rumble. It shouldn't be every man for himself. It should be every dude for himself.
Every dude for himself.
And we've just lost Davey Boy Smith.
Oh, and there goes Texas Tornado.
Oh.
Oh, that was a fair
I believe the Barbarians lasted this long, right?
That was a fair palm strike from Boss Man.
Absolutely. I know who this is.
Oh, Sean's out.
Michael's and Tito.
Yeah, here comes Hercules.
So now we've got Barbarian, we've got Flair, we've got Boss Man, and we've got Hercules. Boom.
Yeah. Hercules entering at number 14.
I don't know much about Hercules, Matt Burns. Can you fill us in on some Hercules detail?
Hercules, if I'm not mistaken, Hercules Hernandez, who was, if I'm not mistaken, was one half of the he was part of. I'm trying to remember straight off just some of me knowledge of him, because I believe he was actually He'd been doing a bit of traveling. He was Hercules Hernandez, Mask Assassin 2, The Mighty Hercules, Mr. Wrestling 3, and he was also Super Invader. So
I don't remember him at all, you know.
He'd done quite a bit of work, and he always worked with the Heenan family.
Right, okay.
And everything. And
no, not Flair. Oh, the Barbarian's gone. There we go.
He was
and Hercules gone too.
Good wrestler, especially when he was part of Power and Glory, when he teamed with Paul Roma.
Oh, Bossman takes a thumb to the eye.
Do you know the infamous? Do you know the infamous power suplex and leap off top rope finish? They were part of it.
Right. Okay. Got you. Bossman's battering Flair here.
Oh yeah.
The clothesline he just hit him with was phenomenal.
Oh no! Inadvertently eliminated himself. I will say that, you know, I think he almost slipped back in, but
do you know what?
To save himself.
Bossman was incredible. Bossman was incredible in this era.
And for a big man, he can move.
Yeah. People talk about Bam Bam Bigelow when they talk about big guys that can move. But I think, you know,
the next time she's going to be someone who
we need to from Bossman.
If you Flair right now, you're not happy.
Here comes the Intercontinental Champion.
Look at him. Oh, no. No, straight in.
This is not fair to Flair, says Heenan.
Yeah, this is not fair to Flair. Oof. Underneath, straight out. Nope, straight through. Come here. Boom.
Fabulous, this is. Absolutely fabulous.
Oh.
And we've had all them, we've been talking about all them hairdos. I mean, Roddy Piper's got an impressive do as well, hasn't he? He's got hair so good that he could have been a Von Erich. Hasn't he? Roddy Piper's got Von Erich hair.
And all you can hear off feeling is just stop him. Ooh. The poke. Roddy Piper teaching Flair a few lessons about being dirty. Even though Flair is the dirtiest player in the game.
You got to fast forward 20 years. These two are tag team champions.
That's what I find weird. Oh, there's the sleeper. Now, a lot of people, I remember at this time, was just there saying, wouldn't making him go sleep be worse? Because then he's dead weight.
Yeah. Bulldog lasted 23 minutes in this Royal Rumble. Shawn Michaels, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Volkov lasted just 1 minute and 3 seconds. And yeah, we're waiting for our 16th entrant. One of my favourites, Matt Burns. That says funny,
it was actually Hercules who lasted less than Volkov.
Got a comment here from Super Lee again, Matt Burns, if you want to take this one.
Oh, definitely.
Tremendous. Rick's heart and perseverance in this match is what it's all about. That's the story we're being told. One man's will to survive. And here comes Jake.
And bear in mind that Flair had also had the moniker, to be the man, you've got to beat the man. So in his mind, he thinks he's the real world champion. If no one can get him out or beat him, they're not the real deal.
That's how he proves himself, absolutely. As we come up to the 2-hour mark of this pay-per-view, Royal Rumble 92, currently at 1 hour, 59 minutes, 34, 35, 36 seconds. If you're watching along or listening along with us, thanks for sticking with us for our longest ever episode of the podcast, Matt Burns. Also on YouTube Live for our Royal Rumble 1992 watch along. Are we going to get a cheer for 2 hours? 3, 2, 1. 2 hours. Hey! Thanks again for your comments, Super Lee. We really appreciate it. There's the figure 4 on Jake the Snake. and he can use the ropes because there's no DQ. I don't understand why Roddy would do that, though. He should have took his time, got a breath. He's obviously hot rod, isn't he? So he's overexcited, wants to win. And because of that now, Flair and Jake. Great right hand from Jake Roberts. Ready for our next entrance. Oh!
With his wood. Or 2x4.
Yeah, don't call it his wood. That's how you get kicked off YouTube Live.
No!
Got another comment from Amber Matt Burns. She says, Jake the Snake is someone who never had a championship but feel like he should have in WWF, WWE. Yeah, I mean, very nearly was King of the Ring in 96, but that wasn't to be. Do you know what, actually, when I think about Jake the Snake, do I agree? I don't think I do, because Jake didn't need a title. He was an attraction all in himself.
Yeah. I think he could have won one. He could have.
Could have.
But,
you know, at this point, I could have seen a WrestleMania main event, Hogan versus Jake. That, you know, that could have been something we built to, but he didn't need it. He didn't need the title any more than the Undertaker did. I know the Undertaker had the title at different times, but he didn't need a championship.
But he didn't have it long.
Yeah.
He didn't have it long.
It's because he didn't need it. Oh! Oh, Jake with the atomic drop on Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and now everyone's down in the ring. We've got 4 in the ring currently. We've got Ric Flair, we've got Hacksaw Jim Duggan, we've got Jake the Snake Roberts, and Rowdy Roddy Piper. I mean, are any of those not in the Hall of Fame right now? Is Jake not in the Hall of Fame yet?
I'm not sure.
Jim Duggan must be.
He's got to be.
Double check that for us, Matt Burns. Stick it in your Google machine.
Number 18.
Amber says, fair and respectful comments about Jake. Yeah, honestly, I don't think he needed the belt. And he is IRS. You know, there's more than one royal family in wrestling. Here comes IRS, father of Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, father of Bo Dallas, now known Uncle Howdy.
Wow.
Erwin or Shyster. Is he in the, did you check? Is he in the Hall of Fame? Jake.
Jake, I'm actually just checking on Thingy first at the moment. Hacksaw.
I think Hacksaw is, surely. He's been in enough Royal Rumbles.
Yep, he has. He was in the 2011 Hall of Fame.
Hacksaw.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jake Roberts.
I don't think Jake is.
He is.
Oh, okay. When did he go in?
2014.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go back and listen to his speech then, because I don't remember that at all.
I remember it. It's
Super Lee.
Gotta love a Flair.
Brilliant comment. Gotta love the Flair flop. Yeah, absolutely. Woo!
Take a bump.
I think Flair missed the memo then on what IRS was trying to do.
Yeah.
Dropping some big elbows on Piper then.
Definitely.
Feels like it's time for the next entrance.
Ooh. You almost called it. Oh. I believe we've got another comment.
Tim King, what's up, fellas? Best Rumble of all time. Yeah, I think that's why we started here, Tim.
Yeah, well, we had it originally requested, and we couldn't exactly say no to the request because, like you just said, one of the best Rumbles of all time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's this and maybe 02. 01's pretty good as well, but 02's the Triple H one.
Yeah.
01 is Austin and Rock face to face. No, not Austin and Rock. Yeah, Austin and Rock are both in that, right?
Yeah. I think it was.
Oh, I can't remember. Certainly 02 though. 92 and 02. They're two of my favourite Royal Rumbles. There are probably others off the top of my head, I can't think of them. But yeah, thanks for joining us live. If you're watching along, the clock at the bottom.
Oh no, 01 was the finish with the
IRS.
01 was the finish with the Austin and Kane with the infamous with the steel chairs repeated.
Tim's just 01 is great. Kane had a great showing. Yeah, totally. It's when Kane comes out and does all the hardcore guys, doesn't he? Really early on in the match. Thanks for your comment, Tim. Really appreciate it.
I think
it's are you watching along live? That's the question.
I think it was the one where Kane in the most eliminations record.
Yeah, at the time, yeah. So we got Jake the Snake trying to eliminate Ric Flair here. We still got Hacksaw in the ring. I believe we still got Roddy Piper.
Yeah, Piper's still in.
Snooker's in, IRS. And next we have, this is the big entry, Matt Burns. I remember this one.
Oh.
Here he comes. And he's only 18 months into his run here. But, you know, we're going far forward. And, you know, decades and decades of The Undertaker's career. But we're literally 18 months into that run here. And, you know, to see what he becomes is incredible. Tim, this is the best comment, one of the best comments we've had today. I'll star this as well. We'll leave this on the screen till we get our next one. Good stuff, guys. Just sub. Thanks, Tim, for subscribing. Really appreciate it, mate. It's what we're here for. I want to build a community and talk about wrestling. I want to talk about the stuff we love. And does he know Sally's way through this Rumble, Undertaker?
I think it was one of them ones where he pretty much, I think he just mauled a lot of people.
Superfly straight out and Flair selling his ass off here for the Undertaker.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Super Lee, Big Evil himself. Big Evil Red Devil. That's what he called himself at one point, wasn't it?
The Big Evil. Did he call himself the Last Outlaw?
No, that's Jarrett. That's Double J. Don't let him don't let him steal things.
No, I'm pretty sure he did call himself an outlaw.
I'm going to pretend I didn't remember that then.
I'm looking it up. Because
this is the grey look the Undertaker had as well. So, and if I remember rightly, when we finally do get Undertaker versus Undertaker, grey Undertaker is the fake Undertaker, and the Undertaker, we'll call him. Yeah, he's no selling the hell out of this. We've got Hacksaw Jim Duggan, IRS, and Flair all letting him. Completely no selling it. You know, if you want to make someone, this is how you do it. And here comes Macho Man Randy Savage. He was looking for Jake the Snake.
Oh.
Super Lee, first generation Taker right here. Absolutely.
Oh, definitely.
I thought he started in the purple, though. Am I wrong there? Did he start in the grey?
I believe he started in the grey, then he transitioned into the purple.
And now we've got Jake in, taking advantage of Macho Man. Ducks the line. Oh. And then starts hammering away at him in the corner. Oh, yeah. The cream rises to the top. Super Lee, 1994's purple. Okay. Take your word for it.
Yeah. And by the way, I was
and out
right.
goes Jake the Snake. What he did call himself the Last Outlaw.
The Last Outlaw.
I don't want to believe it because Double J's the Last Outlaw. Then 1994 purple masked. Yeah, the mask was an interesting choice. I knew he broke his face, but yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It's the era of The Undertaker. I try not to remember too much. That and the Ministry Undertaker, even if it wasn't like really in my fandom. That.
Well, Ministry of Darkness Undertaker.
Yeah, I try not to. Even though at the time I loved it. At the time, I absolutely loved it because that's like my perfect age fandom. Like I was a massive WWE fan at that time. I, loved it, lived and breathed it.
Yeah.
But the Ministry Taker, when looking back, it wasn't fantastic, was it?
Yeah. Well, I believe the grey he wore was his Western Mortician gimmick. If I'm not mistaken, the grey costume, the grey. The purple was when he started going into the Dead Man Darkness era. Then he evolved into the Lord of Darkness, then into the Ministry of Darkness.
Super Lee seems to be our Undertaker expert, and he says correct. So I'm going with Super Lee.
Yeah. Because he was originally meant to be the Western Mortician because they were doing body bag matches, and then which then ended up leading into him starting the casket matches. Where, if I recall, I remember him doing the whole vignettes where he was building caskets for his opponents. Because he was playing that psychological game.
Oh, low blow on the Undertaker. No sold, really. Who's next?
The
Berserker, number 22. We're 22 in now.
The Berserker.
I love it all the way through. You can hear Bobby Heenan. Where's Flair? Where's Flair? Again, if you're listening along or watching along at home, and whether you're watching live or you're listening to this back, the clock at the bottom of the screen, or if you can't see the screen, we're currently 2 hours, 12 minutes, 57, 58, 59 seconds into the Royal Rumble 1992 pay-per-view. We're watching along on Netflix, but if you've got your DVD in, fair dues. If you're watching on the Peacock, get your Peacock out. But we've got it on the Netflix in the UK these days, so happy days.
And I will say, this is some quality time to be in. Because come on, this was a great Rumble, absolutely phenomenal. We've got some.
I'm really glad that 1992 got chosen on reflection.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it for a long time. I've watched the Royal Rumble match a few times over the years, but I've never watched the full pay-per-view, I don't think. I'm really enjoying it, genuinely.
It's so good.
So while we got the Royal Rumble on, Matt Baines, let's talk a bit more recent. I know earlier on we talked about who we think will start the Royal Rumbles this year and who we think will win the Royal Rumbles this year. As we're on that road to WrestleMania starting the end of this month, what do we feel for the two title matches at WrestleMania, the world title and the
WWE?
Yeah, the WWE title.
Virgil's making his appearance.
Here he comes. Vincent.
Straight to IRS.
Yeah.
Ooh. But for me,
Super Lee, thanks for your comment. We'll come back to that in a second. Just want to hear about the Matt Baines' thoughts on upcoming WrestleMania.
Yeah. For me, for the championship, I think from what we discussed off the air and also on here, I feel as though we're going to get that Cody Roman match.
Do you? You think we're going to get Cody Roman 3? I did say it earlier on, didn't I? And, a lot of people are thinking we're going to get Cena Cody.
No.
I'm not convinced. I think doing Cody Roman for a third time consecutively, I think it's a really good shout. Genuinely, I do. The rubber match, they've won one each. Why would you not do that?
Yeah,
We know it's a draw. We know the stakes.
definitely.
There's money in it for me.
Definitely. And also at the same time, I feel as though on the opposite, on the other side, we're going to get Gunter versus CM Punk versus John Cena.
Yeah, I think they teased that a little bit, but I would love to see Punk get eliminated and then come back in the ring and eliminate Cena, or just have Punk eliminate Cena. Super Lee thinks Roman wins Rumble, Cena wins Elimination Chamber, and we've talked about that, haven't we?
You actually said that. You actually said that yourself.
But I said that Cena wins the Elimination Chamber for the world. No, I didn't. I said Punk wins the Elimination Chamber for the World Championship, and then Cena challenges Punk at Mania for the World Championship. That's what I said.
No, he wins the belt in the regular match, but Cena wins the Elimination Chamber to be the number one contender.
No. I think Punk wins the title at Elimination Chamber.
No.
Cena
I'm saying
challenges him at Mania.
No. What I'm saying is Punk wins against Gunter in a singles match. It's Elimination Chamber, but Cena wins the number one contendership
in the Elimination Chamber. Good shout. Right, let's go back and just look at Super Lee's comment here. Would love to hear your take on the Bulldog in a later episode.
You want to go or do you want me to go first?
No, I asked you.
That's fine. For me, he was sensational, phenomenal, and was great for, especially when we had the SummerSlam in the UK. He was absolutely phenomenal. Shame he was never a world champion, but at the same time, he also had his own vices, his own demons at the same time. So that probably didn't exactly help him. And he had some unfortunate bumps, if I'm not mistaken, on a certain ring with the him landing on the trap door and causing that spinal injury.
Super Lee says, as an American, I always saw him as a top contender like Sid Vicious. They both had a presence.
Yeah.
I think for me, right, I always think he's an icon in the UK, but he's not globally respected. I think that his personal struggles really tarnished his legacy.
Yeah.
I think that his career is defined by those bigger moments, like his SummerSlam 92 victory over Bret Hart, rather than a consistent body of work.
Yeah.
I think the tag team legacy overshadowed him a little bit. But as we saw at the start of this Royal Rumble, he was in mint condition. He looked $1 million. He bucks sound like an American. He looked $1 million. He was a quality worker. He did some great stuff with Flair at the beginning of this. And at any point, they could have pulled the trigger and had him win the world title or had him on a prolonged run with the Intercontinental title. Do you know what I think really lets the Bulldog down? The number one thing that really lets him down is that if he never really got to the top in WWF, he should have been able to in WCW. And his WCW run was really underwhelming as well.
Yeah.
That's what I think lets him down.
Especially when he was producing promos where he literally declared himself as bizarre.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, it was very weird when you had them.
Who just had come in there? Was that Rick Martel, the model?
Yep.
So he's the 25th entrant. So just to, we talked about this before, but we've had 25 entrants now. We still haven't seen Sid Justice or Hulk Hogan. We could do a full episode on the British Bulldog for
For
me. I think we could do half an episode on him.
As you brought up about Sid Vicious being having a presence, he was such an intense individual. And actually, case in point with backing up what you've just said, right? Bear in mind, did Sid Justice be WWE champion?
Yeah, he had a run with the title, didn't he?
Did he have a run with the title?
Sid definitely had a run with the title. Yeah, 1,000%.
Yes, he did. Right. Which straight away speaks volumes, the fact that he managed to win that big one But he didn't just win it just there. He also won the big in WCW more than once.
Yeah, but Sid Justice was 6'9". Oh, here comes the Hulkster.
Speaking of which, you're asking about him.
I am a real American. Fight for the rights.
But like you said, both of them did have a great presence, but Sid somehow had a bit more oomph in it, and he saw his body, like you said, his body work kept him going, his intensity, and he managed to win the big one in WWE and also WCW.
Absolutely. Yeah, the thing is with Hogan, right? I'm sorry, I'm changing gears here from Sid to Hogan, but Hogan, an absolutely huge star in the 80s, the biggest star in wrestling. The Rick Martel just went through the middle rope, not eliminated.
Yeah.
And like I said at the very beginning, I feel like this is when Hogan's popularity started to wane. So,
yeah, because
maybe people feel different, but I think sometimes you feel like the absence makes the heart grow fonder. But I feel like that wasn't starting to be the case here. Undertaker's eliminated, but sold it totally again.
Yeah, and there goes the Berserker.
And the Berserker's out as well. Hogan eliminated 2 within the first 30 seconds of him being in the ring.
Hogan, the thing is, somebody can only be on top for so long. There's always a time. There goes Virgil and Jim.
Yeah. Hacksaw's gone. Virgil's gone, and now Roddy's looking at Hogan. And IRS gets all over Roddy. Hogan and Flair. This could have been the WrestleMania main event, guys. Who didn't want that?
Yeah.
Other than Vince.
Skinner.
Oh. Not a fan of Skinner,
Not everyone was. Not everyone was. Even though he was Steve Kerner's one half of the Fabulous Ones. The weird thing about it is he was more famous for not being Skinner.
His gimmick was basically that he was Steve Irwin, right? He was the alligator hunter.
It was a bad impersonation of Steve Irwin.
I think Skinner wrestles Owen Hart at the WrestleMania following this Rumble, because I've watched that. Not dead recently, but recently enough. Really short match. Piper on the edge. Can Flair get him out? Here comes the model.
Did I find funny? Hogan's come in, ripped his t-shirt, and nearly every individual has used his t-shirt as a weapon, even on Hogan.
You know what's interesting is Hogan was the first one to do that, and I think people forget sometimes that even though Hogan was a babyface, he always worked heel in his matches. Even as a babyface, before he turned heel, he worked heel.
It doesn't work for me, brother.
Piper biting Flair.
Ooh. Boom. I don't think Skinner was on the page there.
No. Here we go. Number 28. I do miss that you don't get that in these earlier Royal Rumbles, that you don't get the number.
Yeah.
And the name tag and the full bit. Like, you get the entrance graphic now, don't you?
There's not even music on this one, is there?
No, you didn't get the music either. I'm okay without the music, though. I'm okay without the music as long as you get the pop, sort of the name tag and the number that they're coming out.
No, but the thing is,
for the TV audience, you want to know how many are left, don't you?
Yeah. And on top of that, especially with the live crowd there, I think that's what the music really did later on. When the music played, they could go, it's them.
And Sarge is back to being a babyface here, right? He's finished his whole Iranian run.
Yeah. Yeah, because I believe the death threats were a bit too much for him.
I don't know about that, but it was certainly really bad timing in what he did.
Yeah,
What the story was versus what was going on in the world.
but then again,
but also I think wrestling, it's supposed to mirror reality, isn't it? So,
but then again, WWE and WWF and everything, they've
it was Iraq actually, wasn't it? Not Iran. Sorry,
I believe Super Lee's just had another comment.
Thanks, Super Lee. The music was definitely key to getting pops. Yeah, I agree. Couldn't agree more. But I don't necessarily miss it in this Rumble as much as I miss the graphic. I think the audience at home, forget the audience in the crowd, and the pop obviously comes from that music for the crowd. I'm talking more as a viewer at home. That entrance graphic with the number, that really helps because, we've only got 2 left. We've only got, 1 left. God, they've been in a long time, etc. I do think that really helps the viewer at home. And here we go, number 29. If I wasn't telling you this, you might not have counted that there'd been 29 people in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you might not have known there was one more. And here comes Sid Justice, Psycho Sid. What else do we call him? What was the other one?
What was that? Sid Justice, Psycho Sid, and
one more.
Sid Vicious.
Sid Vicious. Was that his WCW name, or did he use Sid Vicious in the WWF?
He has used it in WWE.
Has he?
Yep.
Everybody always forgets the Psycho Sid return to WWF. Do you remember when he came back in 2012 and did over Heath Slater? Brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Is it? Was it Raw 1000? I can't remember. Might have been 20 years of Raw. Might have been Raw 1000. I can't remember which one. Something like that.
Definitely.
Did we lose Savage? I completely missed us losing Macho Man. Oh no, he's still there in the back.
Is he?
Yeah, he's in the back. Sergeant Slaughter's got him, I think. So we've got in the ring right now with one more coming. We've got Savage, IRS, Slaughter. We've got Sid. We've got Ric Flair. Got Hogan.
Hang on. It's the Warlord. Is this one of these?
Oh, we've got Rick Martel, Roddy Piper still in there as well. The Warlord. He's massive, isn't he? The Warlord. Absolutely huge.
Yeah.
If you're still watching along with us, the timer at the bottom of the screen, or if you're listening on audio on the podcast and you're listening and watching along with us, then Royal Rumble 1992, the whole pay-per-view, currently 2 hours, 28 minutes, 45, 46, 47 seconds through. If you want to sync up with us, and we're getting right to the end. We've just had number 30 out in this Royal Rumble match. So
no more entrances now?
That's it for entrances.
There he is.
Flair's been in the ring, nearly an hour at this point?
Close to. Well,
yeah.
Oh!
Yeah. I mean, fair dues for mint bump.
Yeah. Fair play to Slaughter on that one.
Amber, entrance music did become vital for the pops, especially for surprise entrances. Absolutely. But I mean, in this era, we weren't here for the surprises. That wasn't a thing at this point, was it? But
no.
Yeah, absolutely fair dues. Hogan and Sid Justice. So I think this match is almost the beginning of that feud, isn't it? Or,
yeah, it was.
There might have been a few segments around that, but we're talking the Sid and Hogan feud just sort of gets going in this one. And
because if I'm not mistaken, Sid blames Hogan.
Yeah.
He blames Hogan for this, I believe. But look at that. The pull on the tie, which is genius.
Teetering.
Ooh. Is he gone?
He's gone. And Hogan and Flair now face
He's
to face
gone.
again. Flair on his knees.
7 bodies left. Well, 6 eliminations left.
And Heenan still absolutely.
Oh, look at that. The Warlord.
Popping for Flair.
Eliminated by Hogan and Sid Justice.
It's happening quickly here. Super Lee with the comments. Flair being generous with the eye pokes. Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, he's being generous. He's showing his love for the visuals.
Say what you want about Ric Flair, but he's got his own version of the 5 moves of doom.
Oh,
the 5 heel tactics.
Double elimination.
Yeah, out goes Piper, and is that the model? Yeah,
model. Final 3.
Final 4. We've got Savage, Sid, Hogan, Flair. Hogan working heel again in the corner.
Doesn't work for me, brother. Another eye poke. Sending his love.
I think that was a receipt for the one Hogan just gave Flair.
Yeah. Oh, in a high knee. Did that send Savage out?
I believe so. Go on, Flair. Hogan's not happy. Sends him in. Flair bump.
Oh, no. Oh, no. He's teetering. Oh, there we go.
And Sid sends out Hogan.
And bear in mind, the tagline was...
Every man for himself, absolutely. And Hogan's not happy about it.
And Sid just said it. Every man for himself.
Cry me a river, Hulk. You should have sent him out the other side, though, because we got a horrible look at Hogan's head there. And this is Hogan being a heel again.
Yeah, and Flair just sending him over. Now, bear this in mind, this wouldn't have happened if Hogan wasn't being selfish, as Sid would say. Was Hogan being selfish?
We've got Flair, world champion, WWF champion at 2 hours, 32 minutes, 35, 36, 37 seconds if you're watching along with us.
Yeah. Being the real world champion.
But not just the real world champion, the undisputed WWF champion as well.
And Flair quickly gets out because Hogan wants the spotlight.
Because Hogan must pose.
He must pose.
That's perfect. Raising Flair's
pose. Hand. He must pose. And
Sid's in the ring with Hogan. And this feud obviously culminates at WrestleMania. We get Sid Justice versus Hogan.
And here we go. We've got to separate them. You cost me the match. You were eliminated. You cost me the match. The thing is, what makes it so weird is everyone said that Sid was in the wrong here. Is he? Is he in the wrong?
I don't think so.
Hogan's
the heel.
Hogan did. He was eliminated.
Here's an interesting one, right? We've got Pat Patterson breaking this fight up before Pat went fully grey. He's only like half grey. I always remember him in his Stooge era in like the late 90s as one of Vince's Stooges, Patterson and Briscoe. And he was fully white-haired by then, wasn't he?
Yeah. But again, like we've said,
Sid and Hogan. This isn't quite the pull-apart brawls we'd see these days. Super Lee's got a comment. He says, Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart Iron Man match always gets praised. That's why 1 versus 1 Flair just took on the entire WWF. Bravo. Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart Iron Man match, totally overrated. We've talked about this on the podcast before. You know I'm not a fan. It's an absolute bore fest.
For me personally, I thought it was a good match, but I feel as though the history between the two, if you know what it is, does tarnish it a little bit.
It's boring, man. It's such a boring hour.
Where this, to me, this match was anybody could win, every man for themselves. And Flair just showed that, you can enter number 3, lasting over an hour, and showcase why, as he always said, to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Yeah, Flair lasted 1 hour and 2 minutes. Roddy Piper lasted 34 minutes and 6 seconds. IRS 27 minutes and 1 second. And the Bulldog 27 minutes and 1 second. Most eliminations was Sid Justice. He eliminated 6. And Ric Flair eliminated 5. Hogan eliminated 4. So, and this is the greatest promo in the history of pro wrestling, Matt Burns, we're about to watch. Jack Tunney presenting the WWF Championship to Ric Flair, the real world champion. Woo!
In my eye.
With a tear in my eye.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Ric Flair's promo here is absolutely fabulous.
Yeah. And the scary thing about it is as he's staring at the camera and he's just there saying this is the greatest moment of his life.
You believe it, don't you?
Actually believe it.
Super Lee. Woo! Woo! Let's give a big one. Woo! Love it. The best promo in the history of pro wrestling, in my opinion.
One of. Not. There is some questionable. There is some good ones, and some
For
that
me,
were
this is number one.
I think there's been some good promos against Flair as well. There's been some real good promos, especially with Daddy from from
Hard Times, absolutely. Yeah, Dusty had some great promos, but this for me is number one. It sits top of the mountain. And Ric Flair's victory, it really solidifies him as the man in WWF. So he goes into that WrestleMania 8 clash with Randy Savage, a fantastic match. Yes, we maybe wanted Hogan versus Flair, but we get Hogan versus Savage, and you can't be mad about that.
Yeah.
And I think it just gives this Rumble this lasting legacy as one of not just the best Rumbles, but one of the best pay-per-views in WWE history for me.
Yeah.
We've got it's interesting to think that, because from here you'd think that Ric Flair goes on to have a phenomenal career in WWF, but it isn't too long and he's back in WCW. It's the next maybe 18 months he's back in WCW. Wow. Shawn Michaels, this is just after his tag team's broken up, and he obviously gets into the Royal Rumble as a single star. Hogan, he hasn't got too much longer now in WWF following this, goes over to WCW eventually, by 1994, 1995, he's over in WCW.
Yep.
And then the birth of the NWO in 96.
Which absolutely reinvented himself.
Yeah, as WWE goes into this new generation with Brett, Shawn, eventually we get through to, the next lot of stars there, Diesel and Razor Ramon, etc., before they jump ship over to WCW. So, a pivotal moment in WWF here. But, just what an event. 5 out of 5 bangers for me, Matt Burns. Not sure about you.
Hang on. 5.
5 out of 5. Absolutely.
What more can we
say? And we're just watching sort of a finishing sort of video here for the last minute of just what happened on the show. But Super Lee, really appreciate this, big boy. You fellas have been great today. Good times. The Big Wing Eagle belt goes to the Burning Truth. Hey, thanks, mate. We really appreciate that. Make sure you subscribe.
Make sure you subscribe. Thank you very much for all the comments. We absolutely love it, and genuinely, this has been absolutely phenomenal for us. And genuinely, what a great event!
Yeah,
what a great event! And for me, it was
take it home, Matt Burns.
So, with that all said, I'm just literally going to have to just say for us, that's a wrap on the 1992 Royal Rumble Watchalong. What an incredible trip down memory lane, packed with legends, surprises, and some unforgettable moments with one of wrestling's most iconic events. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you've had as much fun as we have had.
Yeah, thanks, Super Lee, Amber Davenport, Tim King, Oshan, Daz Reynolds. Thanks very much for getting involved in the chat tonight. If you want more of the Burning Truth, don't forget we can keep the conversation going on the social medias. We're on Twitter and Blue Sky at TBT Live UK, so give us a follow on there. Instagram at The Burning Truth. We're on Facebook, The Burning Truth, and of course the YouTube, which we're on right now, The Burning Truth 251. If you're listening on the podcast in a couple of days, get yourself on our YouTube. You can get our watch-alongs early, like this one today, and live. You also get all full episodes of the podcast, reactions, and exclusive content.
And make sure to body slam that like button, put
Nice.
the subscribe into a chokehold, and sign away and leave us a review of your favorite platform. Every like, sub, and comment helps us connect wrestling fans from around the world, and we couldn't do it without any of you.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself, Matt Burns. There's something huge, actually. Head over to theburningtruthuk.com right now, not just for breaking wrestling news and updates, but to check our brand new merchandise store. We've got t-shirts, mugs, and much more coming soon to help you rep the Burning Truth wherever you go. You don't want to miss these awesome designs.
And of course, next week we will be back to returning to some of our favorite segments, back to our regular schedule programming, including Buried Alive, Top 3, and of course, Rebook This. Let's just say I've got a rebooking challenge for Scott that I promise will be absolutely impossible for him to score a 5 out of 5 bangers on. But Scott loves proving me wrong, and I don't mind it.
Absolutely. Challenge accepted, Matt. You're going to have to tune in to the pod next week to see how I prove you wrong.
But until next time, stay fired up, stay passionate, and of course, remember, DFTBA, and in case you know what it means don't forget to be awesome!
And how do we end this podcast? How do we end this YouTube live? Other than saying, woo!